I won't
Hello.
have
Right, we're live. Hello, everybody.
rating. That's fine. Or
Yes,
hello.
yours is a little vertical, but that's okay. Um, Welcome
Yeah.
everybody to the first session of the Imris Saga, Rising Shadows. Um, I'm glad we've already got a few viewers, which is nice. And, I'm happy to be here. All right, so we're gonna go around the horn just to introduce everybody. I know some people have been in the Discord, kind of introducing themselves already. I have already introduced myself, for instance. I'm Andrew. I'm gonna be your dungeon master for today, for this stream. I hope it's enjoyable. I've been playing D&D for like 8 years now. This is the first time I'm streaming it, and I'm really excited. I feel like we've got a really good cast and very interesting characters. Um, yeah, I'm just going to go in camera order from top left to bottom right. So, Sarah, why don't you introduce yourself for the stream?
Hello. I'm Sara. I'm going to be playing the Paladin. Um, this isn't my first time doing a podcast, but I've since scrubbed any internet history of anything else I've recorded here. So this will be the first thing I'm recording. It'll probably be more permanent on the internet. I use they them. I've been playing D&D for a number of years. I've been playing it since the playtest was out, although not much. Mostly as a DM. Although I've gotten a whole lot more experience now as a player.
Yes, and I've been playing with Sarah for I don't know, several months, almost a year maybe. I'd have to go back and check, but
No, we've definitely been playing for over a year, almost
over a
2 years
year. Yeah, I'm
actually.
not. I'm so
Yeah,
terrible
yeah,
with
well
time.
over.
But yeah, happy to have you.
Yeah.
Next is going to be Charlie. Yeah, and we'll introduce characters once we switch over to the actual game.
Mhm.
So I'm Charlie. I use they them. I have not played with Andrew before. I've been playing D&D for about a year now, and I will be playing the Cleric.
All right, excellent. Sean, you're up next.
Hey everybody, my name's Sean. I use he/him pronouns. I'll be playing the rogue.
Oh.
I've been playing tabletop games, I want to say for a little over 12, 13 years, both player and GM, but not as much 5e. So this is really fun for me to get this opportunity, and I'm excited to be doing it with everyone here at the table.
All right, Marisa.
My name is Marisa. I use she, her pronouns. I'm going to be playing a ranger character. I have actually only played a couple D&D one-shots and then a very short campaign. Haven't played with anyone here yet. And yeah, I'm excited to get started.
All right. Finally, but not least, Jack.
I would also have been happy with least. Least was fine. Yeah, I'm Jack. I use he/him pronouns. I've been playing with Andrew for almost the entire time I've been playing D&D, so nearly a decade probably.
And I've been playing with
8 years
you
or something.
almost since I started, like 6 months after I think the first time I ever played.
Since you showed up thinking that you could run a Dark Heresy game.
And it was terrible. It was awful.
To our group. It was bad. Yeah, so I've played for ages since the playtest as well, but a lot of other systems. I have enjoyed getting to know everybody. I'm really excited for the game, and yeah, I am playing a bard. So that's all you will ever get to know about the bard. They have no name, they're just a bard.
Their name is Bard.
And
Yeah,
Jack
Bard the
also
Bard.
did. Yes, Jack also did all the overlays that you're looking at. Mainly just to help me out.
Any
But I think
critiques
they
of
look
the
great.
overlays?
They're
Our
better than what
wonderful,
I would have
wonderful
done.
artists.
For sure. Right. Okay, so I think we're going to jump in. Transition over to the game page so everybody can see the die rolls and everything. So for this game, we're using Foundry, which is a virtual tabletop. If you don't know about it or use something else, I highly recommend it. I quite like it. I switched over a few months ago, and it's very, very nice. I made this little thing, which this splash screen that we're on, which is kind of what Jack took when he was doing the design for the overlays. Oh, everybody looks cool. Marisa, I'm just going to pull you to the homepage. I know you're on the map. So, I'm going to begin with Sean's character, Alveron. Alveron, you have just left the city of Vacant, and you've been traveling for some time. You took a boat up to the town of Board, on the up in the mountains, kind of border region between the Romnian Empire and the Core Commonwealth, the Dwarven kingdom. And you spent some time in a caravan working as a guard. You kind of sold yourself out as a duelist, mainly for board and stuff like that, to travel in a group. So you've been traveling along one of the dwarf roads, one of the main ones actually, heading towards Kharad, the dwarven capital of the Core Commonwealth. We kind of see the camera open on a shot of you entering or exiting a vast tunnel into a much more vast cavern. You're kind of coming to this place for the first time. You can see various large, massive pillars, some very natural looking, some a little bit more carved, holding up this vast ceiling above you. The caravan wheels kind of clinking as they cross the various cobblestones that make up this road. And you pass by fields of mushrooms being tended to by dwarven farmers. You see a kobold kind of farmhand doing some things as you begin to enter into the city, passing through one of the many gates in the outer walls of the city. You've been told to look for a particular tavern, but you don't know exactly where it is. As you first get in, you're kind of introduced to a very new city smell. Every kind of city has a different feeling to it, and this is one that you're not familiar with at the moment. It smells to you of hot metal, spiced meat, and of course this sort of damp, earthy smell as you are underground. But now that you're fully in the city, you can see off in the distance a body of water that you know to be Lake Dura, as well as the cavernous entrance that the city sits right before. So you can see some light, some sunlight filtering in. You imagine from that it's probably about noonday, so there's no direct light, but you can kind of see the noonday sun far off in the distance, almost just like a curtain of light far before you. Just to kind of move things a little bit more quickly, I'm going to narrate your actions a little bit. You kind of ask around looking for this tavern that you're in, or tavern that you were told to find. You know that it's called the Raven's Rookery. But again, you're unfamiliar to the city. You've never been here before. And before too long, you inquire with a couple guards, maybe, a stall selling some meat skewers here or there, and eventually you start to make your way into what is known as the Redcap District. The Redcap District is called so because most of the mushrooms in this part are red-capped, red with speckled white dots. They're quite tall, but not as tall as some of the other mushrooms that you pass by on your way into the city. Maybe large bush-sized. None of them come much above your head height. But as you pass through the narrow alleyways that make up the red caps, a little bit of a poorer district, not quite as wealthy as some of the ones that you've passed through on your way to here, which aren't many, as it is on the outer walls, so you don't have to travel very far into the city. Eventually you find yourself standing before a comparatively nice tavern, especially when you consider the surroundings, where it's maybe a little bit more run down. This would not be out of place in a well-to-do part of town. You kind of enter in, as I'm going to pull everybody to that map. stream should see it. And Sean shouldn't be able to see anything.
You also still have the game paused, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I won't press it. That shouldn't matter for pulling people over, but... Alveron, you enter, and you're coming through over a carpet into a very wide tap room. You can see a sand pit at the very center, seemingly not in use at the moment, but not uncommon in dwarven taverns. There's a bar and a bartender off to your side, a dwarven man kind of polishing both the table and then various glasses as he goes working about. It's currently getting to about dinner time. As you look about, it's the inn is obviously starting to fill up. There's a couple people off in the various nooks, these sort of enclosed spaces with cushioned couches that give a little bit more privacy. They're a little bit blocked off from the rest of the inn. But there's also various people sitting at different tables, eating, drinking. You see a couple kobolds, a gnome, as well as many dwarves. But you also see before you a Gathite kind of sitting up tall. The ceiling here is very high, so they're not at risk of touching it, but you think in another building here, they might have to stoop over. The bartender will call out to you as you enter. Oh, hello. What can I get you today?
In common?
Yeah, he'll speak to you in common, but presuming, human, they might not know Dwarvish.
Gotcha. I'll meander over. The commands work? Oh, cool. I'll meander over and just... Hey, friend, just coming off of caravan duty, looking to wash a bit of the dust out of my throat and a little bit of whatever's hot that you have to serve at the moment.
He'll nod and immediately begin pouring you just common ale, laying it down in front of you. He'll say, "I've got some hot stew. Go fetch some of that for you." And very briskly, like walking through a set of saloon-style doors, fetching some stuff before coming back and handing you a bowl. That right there will be about 2 silver.
Okay. Take them out, no problem. Put them down, and then just make a note of saying something along the lines of, and when this mug starts to get empty, I'm looking to keep drinking for a little bit of a minute.
Right? Make sure to
slide
keep you
the
full
coins
up.
across to him.
They'll take them, pocket them in a large pouch that clinks very soundly with coins. You kind of look around at this point, and you see the various dwarves, of course. Why don't we start to get some visual introductions at least? You obviously noticed the Gathite, Marisa, if you want to visually introduce your character. Or not Marisa, sorry, Charlie. Characters and people.
I was very confused.
No, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to have Charlie introduce you, Jack's going to introduce Marisa, and we're going to have Sean introduce Sara for some reason.
All right.
This
so,
is how...
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So the Gathite is, as stated, sitting quite large in his somewhat too small for him chair. He is laid out, taking up a lot of space, even though he is already large. He's taking up even more space than should normally be allotted to him. He has his arm kind of protectively around his stew bowl, and he is eating it without much in the way of table manners. Wearing heavy-duty bone armor, a massive, what almost looks to be a warhammer or a war pick at his back, and his entire face, his arms thoroughly tattooed.
Sitting next to them is a armored figure. Sara, if you want to go ahead and describe your character. And I'm curious, do you still have the helmet on, or how are you eating?
Yes. That thick, got sort of a chainmail covering around and they're like lifting it up to take bites and putting it down. It's a pretty awkward process.
Okay, so
Very
uh-huh.
very they're very much uncomfortable. Otherwise, though, they're pretty large male regalious travel water.
You're cutting out a little
adorning.
bit, just so you know. I think the sound gate's
Oh,
a
okay.
little too
Is this
high
better?
now.
Yeah, yeah, I think I have my.
That's
Is
okay.
this better?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. They've got this massive white cloak coming over their back, obviously meant to shield them from the sands, as besides the armor, the other clothing around them seems to be pretty loose, save for thick gloves.
Mm-hmm.
It all looks to be either cover the skin or keep air filtering.
Yeah.
They also more noticeably have these massive elk horns coming out of the helmet.
So basically, other than what they're wearing, you can't see any physical features about them. You can't even tell really if they're human or some other race. They're not a dwarf or a gnome or a kobold for that matter, clearly just based off of their size. But beyond that, you can't tell. Why don't we go ahead? You kind of look past them to a human woman and a kobold sharing a table together. Both of them look a little bit perhaps weary from travel as well, but are eating. Jack, why don't you go ahead and describe your character?
Will is wearing a really heavy sailor's coat. It's clearly like cut for a probably taller man than Will is. But right now she's got no hat on, so her short red hair is like falling a little bit shaggily across her ears and stuff. She's probably still watching Uber work his way through a chunk of so much meat while like eating what is comparatively demurely, I think, some bread and jam, but there's also just like slopped stew all around where she is, and probably like 2 or 3 ale cups from now. She's, I think, gesturing with a screwdriver in her hand while working on something small and mechanical on the table.
Tinkering with something. Beyond that, beyond a large plate of mutton, maybe like a pound of it in total, you see a kobold. If Marisa would like to describe their character.
Yeah, so I'm playing as Uba. Uba is a kobold that's small even for kobold standards. They have like a brownish gray skin that's really good for like blending in if they're trying to be stealthy. At the moment, they are not being stealthy. They have a large necklace on that has all sorts of trinkets tied to it, jewelry, some gemstones, things like that. None of them really seem to be that significant. Like they're all kind of cheaply made trinkets, except for a platinum ring on their thumb. And they are currently devouring an entire leg of mutton by themselves.
Just like scarfing it down.
Yeah.
Okay. By the time you've kind of looked over, got a good view, you've mostly finished your first ale, Sean, or we'll see, Alveron, and the bartender goes to fill you up again. So you in town long? What you here for?
Well, actually, friend, I was told that I should be seeking out this inn as I'm coming to town by someone I presume might be a mutual friend of ours. Cal. It's what I knew him as. I think his family name Callum de Tarrant. You might have known him more properly as.
Sure, I know the lad's father. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, they're old friends. Well, his father is anyways. A long time ago, traveled together a bit. I'm glad to see they remember a face and to give me a bit of business.
Nah, they said you were a trustworthy fellow for a young swordsman out making his way, and at the very least, that good beer flows here, and that you might be able to give me a point in the right direction as I'm leaving town.
Sure.
Other than that,
looking
I'm
for
there on the
work,
courtesy of others.
or you just looking to advice on places to sight to see in the city, or are you looking for some coin?
Work could be better, sir.
Okay.
The caravan that I just came in with, good sort of folk, but admittedly, a duelist is a little bit wasted as just a caravan guard.
Well, I don't have much at the moment. Of course, there's always the well, he'll gesture at the sandpit, a bit of arena fighting if you're looking to make quick cash and don't mind getting bruised up. Um,
Hmm.
you like unsavory work. Those dwarven fellows in the corner there, they might be able to help you out. But I've got my eyes open. Actually, those two over there, and he'll point at the armored figure with the elk antlers and the Gathite. They were asking about work too. It always pays to be in a larger group for those sorts of things. You usually get a better deal. Might want to ask them. But I don't have any specific jobs at the moment. I'll ask around. You staying for the night?
I'll be trying to take a room. Yes, sir.
Okay. Rooms are a gold. Since you're a friend of the Detrants, I'll give you it for 5 silver.
I appreciate you. I'll slide it over. I'm trying to be as not ostentatious as I can about my purse, but just reach it across to him, and then actually I'll slide over a whole gold. She'll be like, and 2 beers. I'll see if I can't bribe my friend, someone who might be 2 new friends at the table over there. So
not a bad
a
way to
total
do
of
it.
3 beers coming over.
He will clink a bunch of glasses together very quickly, like fill them up, and then set them down in front of you. Just simple stuff. Probably cheaper dwarven ale.
Gotcha. 3 house elves works perfectly well. I'll settle up with him, and then I guess this is a question more for Andormedia and Sulveran. What are you two's expressions at the moment? Like, what's the vibe at the table right now?
Medea's face is completely covered and is just finished eating. The helmet has like a little bit of like food scrap on it because they kept brushing it against it as they were eating. They're sort of hunkered against the table, staring against, very obviously the eye holes are just staring against the wood of it. The posture isn't very upright. They're almost completely slumped over.
Sulveran is sitting there. He has just finished his stew and pushed it aside, and he's sort of nursing this beer. And while he's got it close to him and he's holding on to it, his face is neutral, not slack, despite the grisly-looking tattoo on his face that could either be a skull or a bird, depending on what way you look at it, and his heavy brow ridge, just placid.
Okay. I will walk over with. I drag the token. Yes, awesome. I will walk over with the 3 beers and stand just, not imposingly at the table or anything, but just walk over and, hello, friends. Set the 3 beers down. I was told by our mutual friend over at the bar that you might be folks that are looking to pick up work in the city as well, looking for a little bit of coin. And I've always had the experience that friends going for a group rate do better than a single person or even just a pair. The beer is yours, whether you tell me to sod off or not, but figured it might buy me a chance of conversation with you fine folk.
Andrew, what do they smell like?
As they approach, that's a good point. Why don't we get a description of Alveron?
So Alveron is, you'd say, for a human male, average height, fairly average build, skin that's definitely very tanned from being at sea for quite a few years. Probably you don't smell the sea on him right now. There's not that salty, windswept feel to him. But you can definitely tell that this is a person who has spent a couple of years either in the rigging lines or scrubbing decks. The sword at his hip is worn across the back. going from kind of the lower back down, duelist style. And the clothing is worn and broken in, but definitely not old. The clothes that he's wearing have probably been worn for the last couple of weeks on a more recent trip. And he doesn't look like he's been impoverished by his time on the road, but still most likely he's been on the road for a while. He's going to be taking a bath tonight when he gets into his room at the inn for sure. Not bad, just earthy.
Does he smell like evil? I
No.
can smell evil.
No.
You can smell evil. He smells, I would say, more pragmatic than evil. That's probably not doing anything to bolster your confidence. He
Faintly
doesn't.
of blood, maybe?
He does not kill unless he absolutely has to. He as a duelist, and I guess we'd find this in roleplay, but you would kind of smell it out. There's a reticence to kill in him.
A sort of hesitation, you know?
Would rather leave someone wounded but alive rather than kill someone outright.
I think Medea looks up and down and looks at the beer and sort of looks to like how Sulveran is reacting to this individual. They're sort of curious because they're like, you know, what is somebody who's already new to this whole place? How do they feel about this person?
So Sulveran is just stares, and his facial expression, Alveron would have probably noticed, didn't change as he walked up. He just turned so that his entire front sort of faces him, squared away, and then just as slowly he turns back to Medea, looks at the beer, looks at Medea, looks at Alveron again. It is very clear he is waiting for Medea to talk to this new person.
Well, could at least give us your name before you offer us beer.
For sure. And oh god, the showman's coming out. But that Alveron would take that as a cue to pull out the chair and, oh, you've asked me my name. Perfect. That's a conversation starter. Sit down. My name is Alveron. I've been a sailor for a number of. If you'd rather me not be at the table, like I said, the beers are free. I promise. But I'd love to pay for it with a conversation and the chance to get to know you and get your own names. As I said, my name is Alveron. I was a sailor for a good number of years, and now I make my living a bit more by the sword on the land side.
While this conversation is going on, Will, you're kind of your ears are picking it up because they're just the next table over. You can kind of hear this guy trying to essentially looking for fellow travelers / mercenaries, mentioning that he's a sailor. You kind of hear that a little bit. How do you like care if like another person's a sailor or not, or does it like not matter to you really?
No, there's just so many sailors in the world. If I cared about every sailor, that's like so many people. But I think I have been positing to Uber, be like, I think the person at that table might be two gnomes in a suit of armor. They haven't taken their armor off at any point, so she has been surreptitiously been looking at that table. But yeah, she's like, oh, a sailor. It's weird in a dwarf place, I guess, but this is also on a lake. So.
Uba looks over and checks out the table.
Also mentioned they are like suspiciously short.
Sara, say again. Uh-oh.
Did we lose Sara?
They were saying they are quite short.
I was just gonna say they're also like suspiciously like any size or like.
I might have to
All right. Well,
turn
Suspiciously
Sarah's
short
cameras
in
So-
off.
comparison to.
Yeah.
If you were to put two gnomes in a trench coat.
It might be
Will's
the
not
same
perceptive enough to notice sitting down that you are that short, I think.
So Uba is going to look over at the table and is kind of, Uba is not the most trusting person / kobold, and doesn't really know if they want to go and talk with this particular group. But actually, question for Alveron: is Alveron's purse visible right now?
So I would say no. With my background, that is tucked very securely on my person. I'm used to being around people who might have sticky fingers, and no, my purse would not be visible. I mean, you've probably seen me like reach into my clothing to get to my gold, but I wouldn't have pulled my purse out
Okay.
to
So
do so.
okay. So Uba's like a little wary of new people, but at the same time, they're from a very small kobold town and haven't really seen anywhere like this place. So definitely the people at this table probably haven't seen people that look like that. So they're kind of hesitant but curious about this group.
We just eavesdrop.
Yeah, you're just kind of like wincing.
Continue eavesdropping in case it seems like something that's up our alley.
Yeah, we're just a little nosy.
Yeah.
Right.
So, besides the beer, what do you want to discuss?
You say besides the beer, what do
What do you want?
what am I looking
What
for?
do you-
What do I
yeah,
want?
Yeah. Yes,
Well,
what do
I've
you
been-
want?
I've been selling my sword for the past couple of weeks, traveling with caravan to caravan, and admittedly, it's decent pay. I worry I'm a little bit wasted on the effort, if you know what I mean. I'm more of a swordsman than I am some brute with a cudgel. And at that point, I pick up my own beer, and there's more to life than just bopping a person over the head and walking away from combat with them. You need sport. You need to have a bit of fun with it. It's just no challenge
Well-
standing around with a bunch of menacing fucking brutes with more bronze than brains who they can brawl, but they can't fight. I figure two, and I look at you both.
You want
Go ahead.
so you want to cudgel people, but am I understanding this correctly?
I would rather finesse them a bit. I'm looking for people who are more interested
What?
in an exciting fight than just a simple cudgel to the head.
Please.
Kick my own leg up and at the
You
bar.
you have no idea what that is unusually erotic for a first meeting.
Wow.
I must admit. Again,
I will tip
are
my
you
beer to you
asking
and
us to fight you?
I'm asking instead, sir, if
Do you want
you'd be
to?
interested in working together to find people who need to be fought. Groups.
Do you want us to go prowl about the streets
At this,
to fight?
not to cut you off, but as this conversation is happening, a couple more people
Yeah,
come in
yeah.
and enter into the bar. A couple dwarves, they go and very quickly just go up to their rooms. A gnomish woman enters in, approaches the bar for a moment, and has a quick conversation with the bartender. They're carrying like a staff. They clearly seem to be like some kind of wizard, arcanist, or something. They have a quick exchange before the gnome kind of very quickly just crosses the sandpit, doesn't even care, and heads to a cushioned chair in the corner next to the fireplace. That just happens as you're talking.
I think while Will is eavesdropping, and maybe like has pulled out a piece of charcoal and some paper to write down like the epitome of like farcical dialogue that is happening at the other table. She says to Uber, she's like, you know, I think that sometimes my urge is to go and help people in this situation, but it's very funny.
Uba nods in agreement and says, I'm just enjoying watching everything unfold, and they're kind of also scanning the rest of the bar at the same time.
You think this could be some kind of show, like a performance that they're putting on?
Uba nods and says, you know, maybe it's possible. Perhaps this is some sort of prelude to a fight, some sort of pre-show. It's very, very interesting. And is like, I don't know, they have like their hands like this and are kind of like staring like this. They're not the most subtle, so it's like a little obvious that Uba is listening into this conversation.
Yeah. Will turns her chair to face the table and continue watching.
Definitely noticed that, but
Everyone else at the bar is kind of just sticking to themselves. Still, you can hear the seems to be a party of dwarven ladies kind of laughing about something uproariously in the car, and the other men are like kind of grumbling about something. The two kobolds have they're sitting on like high chairs. They have been into their cups despite it being only like early evening, just before dinner time, really. So they're kind of a little bit out of it, like slouching slightly, clearly tired. The gnome who just walked in recently is going to. They're like scanning the room. Check people's. There's a way I could do that more easily, but I forget what it is off the top of my head.
Have the best.
I've
passive
got like
perception.
a fucking 12. It's useless.
Yeah,
man.
this is a compared to my other group, a very, very low perception party. Probably Alveron and Sulveran. Alveron probably mainly because you're facing, and Sulveran you just have a good eye for you on you. The gnomish woman in the corner is very much like scanning the room a little bit warily, almost. But they pull out a book and begin to read, like flipping through some pages.
okay.
Alveron is watching Alveron this whole time, and he just takes a very slow sip of his original beer and lets the tankard fall slightly heavily to the table surface and speaks slowly. Am I not a brute with a cudgel, then? Pointing
Like
at
you
the
We are sort of both brutes here, really.
but you have the
Do you
appearance
have
of those
any
who
wood?
use it as an artist, rather than someone who uses it just because they don't know any better. And that's what draws me here with my beer.
Do you have any defined work we can help with?
I
No.
don't at the moment, but 3 minds searching vigorously for it, I think would have a better chance than just one new man in the town.
Hmm.
You said you have been selling your
Well,
sword, but I see it right there.
Nothing gets past you, sir. I was able to buy it back after I'd sold it for a few weeks on the road. It was, more of a rent-to-own proposition. More beer? I say, and I kind of scoot the tankard that I brought over a little bit closer to you, almost as an offering.
So Sulveran is actually drinking his very first beer here, and he's going to look and just very casually, very firmly, with his elbow, nudge Medea and point at the beer, almost as if he's asking permission.
will like give a vague nod gesture, and then begin to like sort of actively look around the tavern because I think they know types like Alveron. They're like afraid they're having like a scheme run on them or their pocket is about to be picked, you know?
Make a perception check. Why not?
Yeah.
Man, I really hope no one is trying to rob you at the same time that I'm
That would
introducing
be
myself to y'all.
Quite funny.
Yeah, it looks real bad if Andrew's rolled a D100.
Yeah.
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 Medea, you kind of scan the room. It seems to be a common crowd. You do notice at this point the gnomish woman is also kind of keeping a close eye out, like glancing over at your table occasionally. But you are not worried about being robbed at the moment. You can also see the two people at the table behind you seem very interested in this conversation, and you kind of like as you turn slightly, they kind of are just like looking over at you guys having this conversation right now.
I give a little appreciative clap, like the performance is good. You gotta respect the performance.
I
What
will
tips
raise my
their
tankard
tankard
to
at
you
them?
and just like, oh,
They
thank you
they
kindly.
take these
Actually, Will probably does need another drink at this point, because as I think as heavily as Uber eats, Will drinks.
Yes.
So, will make her way, skirting the sand pit a little bit past this table to the bar.
Scooch by.
Andrew
Yes.
Can I tell why the dwarvish woman would be like so interested in that book? Like is he
Oh, that's a good question.
quickly flipping
Make an insight check.
pages, right?
Yeah, make an insight check to try to figure out why this gnomish woman is kind of figuring it out.
Yeah.
You're kind of looking at it. It's a little bit of a strange looking book. It's got
Very mediocre. I'm not kidding above.
yeah, not very average rolls right now. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
black bound, leather bound book. It seems fairly nice quality. It doesn't have like a picture on the front, no name on the spine.
How far away?
They're like I think 35 feet away or something like that. I'd have to count the tiles. They're 40 feet away from you, so a good distance.
Very visibly. They're gonna take a second to very visibly hold their hand up to Alveron, and I'm gonna use divine sense.
Okay.
See if we can this time actively 60 feet. Smell of any evil. Yeah, I'll post it.
Andrew, do you want to
Mhm.
narrate what they would detect, or do you want me
Yeah,
to?
I'll narrate. I think they're doing it on the room as well, so I will definitely narrate.
Oh, gotcha.
As soon as I see the output, so I know what exactly to narrate.
Yeah. Not letting me output it traditionally through Foundry. I don't know why.
That's fine.
The only part I left out of it is 1 plus my modifier. So yeah.
That's a feature, right, or is that a spell?
Feature.
Divine. Okay. You don't detect any creatures or anything like that. The gnomish woman doesn't detect as evil, but you're kind of sniffing, and the leather you start to smell. I think burnt paper, maybe almost like smelling sulfur. You're reminded of the ornate fountain that you passed by with the sort of central lava spew that's in the city, the sort of sulfuric smell. There's something not right about that book. You're not sure if the contents are evil or if it's cursed something like that. But Alveron smells neutral to you. Not.
They're going to hold up a hand and then.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, they stand up, like pulling the chair out and stare directly at the dwarfish woman.
She's gnomish. Gnomish. Just so we're clear.
And then, oh yeah, gnomish. Sorry.
That's okay.
And they just look directly at her.
Okay.
And then they're just going to say out loud to everybody at the table. Can hear, not like super loud, but just in a talking voice.
Mm-hmm.
The woman's book smells of something foul.
Okay.
Can Uba hear this?
Yeah, you're close enough that a normal like table speaking voice, if you're like pulling your ears that way, you can hear whatever they're saying. So
Okay,
yes,
Uba's gonna not so subtly move over a little bit so they can see like who is being talked about.
You switch chairs, just like lean over across the sort of pillar in the corner. Will you at this point, you've ordered a drink. What do you just want? The bartender will ask. You just want another ale, miss?
Oh no, I'll take 2 ales. It saves me the trip back. But did you put? I didn't realize there was a theater troupe. They're very funny. And she points at that table.
Oh no, they came in separately. Those two are looking for work, and he's looking for work. And I suggested perhaps they get together.
Oh,
and
that's
they're a
even
very
funnier.
motley crew, I guess. Shrugs.
All right, she pays for the ale and probably drinks half of one there and then walks back to the table.
Okay, you just
Now
down one,
not interested
put
in
it
this
down.
table.
Uba, when Will comes back, Uba, who still thinks that this is a theater troupe, says, "Ooh, you missed it, Will. The plot is getting thicker. This woman over here, I don't know if Uba would know what a gnome is, because they live such a shelter life, but just kind of gestures at the gnomish woman and says, apparently her book smells funny." And like Uba's like staring at the gnomish woman.
Okay. This gnomish woman is staring hard back at all of you with a flat gaze, like waiting for you to do something. Because clearly you're staring at them like something's wrong, and they haven't given anybody leave to do so. They haven't done anything in particular that's super strange yet. But they're far enough away that they can't hear this conversation. Not readily above, the din of the rest of the tap room and the fire.
When Will comes back, she will look, and then she'll kind of turn to Uber and say, "You know what, Uber? You can do anything. You're incredible." And she'll give you bardic inspiration in case something happens in the next 10 minutes.
Likewise, Sulveran is looking at Medea, and the last time you mentioned odors, and he is going to give her hold on, is it loading? Okay, no. Give me just a second, I gotta pop up my Foundry sheet. He is going to give the Vigilant Blessing.
The buffs begin.
You've been rolling privately this whole time. I don't know if you.
Yeah, we've got a buff heavy party.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, how is Alveron feel about this?
The fact that the 5 of us have just absolutely started staring down some poor gnomish bookworm, and now she's looking back at everyone with baleful eyes, and Alveron's just sitting here like, I just wanted to get a couple of adventurers drunk and go make some money, and now all of a sudden, fricking I'm apparently I've got my male gaze is impacting this poor woman who just wants to read a book in a bar. I am everything my mother raised me not to be.
You're so used to pirates who are just like, "Oh, you gave me a beer? Sure, whatever. I'll help you." That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, for everyone's
I-
reference, I literally traded rum favors so I didn't get murdered before I wound up here, and now all of a sudden I can't buy you with alcohol? Jesus, people, what do you expect?
I do want to point out that Will glanced at the gnomish woman, but is not interested in that as much, knowing that it's not part of a performance, but hasn't thought to mention that yet. like
Still
Will's
thinks
still
it's
putting
a
together. Yeah, Will's still putting everything together. But yeah, it's like, I mean, I guess that's something. Who knows? Now I don't care that much, but in case we need to do something.
As
Yeah.
this all is happening, I think the farce is building slightly. Uba's still a little bit unaware that this is not just a performance. The others kind of still chatting, trying to figure out what's going on. The gnomish woman stands as though to to move, leave the room or something. They close the book and tuck it away, gathering up their staff. As this happens, I am, just for the benefit of the audience, I am playing music. I'm not outputting it to Twitch just because of copyright reasons. So unfortunately, and I probably won't upload it to YouTube with music. I might eventually do a Patreon or something, and that has videos with the music, but I couldn't figure out a good way to do that without running into copyright issues. But as this happens, the doors will kind of everybody previously had been opening the doors and closing them like a normal person would. This time, the doors just are thrown open. You can see a number of figures kind of start to basically march inside, like a troop of people. They're not guards or anything. The lead one is wearing kind of dark robes. They've got their hood partially up. You can see that all of these people are armed in some way. There's a dwarf standing next to a human, both wearing heavy armor. One's got a big mace on them. The other one is carrying a large battle axe. Behind them are a number of people masked, carrying scimitars. Everyone in the bar at this point kind of turns to look and see what's going on. And you see the bartender, who Alveron knows to be called Tall Hand, or at least that's his nickname, turns and looks at this procession just marching in the door and says, "Why, what's this then?" The other dwarf will kind of look over and just say, "Shut your gob." As he kind of goes, shakes it, gives a look of consternation, as though he's not used to being talked like that in his own bar. The robed man, as everybody's looking over, kind of scans the room and immediately locks eyes with the gnomish woman. She freezes.
Andrew, just so you know,
yes,
when the door was kicked open like that, it happened behind me.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been up out of my chair and just turning in the direction of it. Just with my background, that loud noise behind me means issues,
Sure.
and I would have been back online with media.
I think most people in the bar at this point have stood up just out of confusion, shock. They don't know what's going on, and are kind of looking at all these people. The robed man points at the gnomish woman, who is now looking a little bit like deer in headlights, and says, "I know who you are. Give us the book now. Make it easy." The woman at this point, she's standing up. She will say, in a voice that doesn't quite match the figure, "You'll have to take it." I want everybody at this point to roll initiative, even if you're not planning on immediately engaging in combat, just so we have a clear order. I'm going to throw everybody into the turn tracker.
I'm going to roll initiative, but Uba is currently said "ooh" really loud and kind of claps a little bit.
It was like, excellent.
Yeah, it's like,
I-
ooh, plot twist.
The gnomish
I do
woman
think
also.
Will says-
Sorry, go ahead.
I think Will says, I'm pretty sure they signed a show. But,
The gnomish woman actually seems to drop a magical disguise and turns into a human woman wearing fairly ornate clothing. Still has a staff, but also with a sword at their side now. They've grown a little bit taller, although not much. They're pretty short for a human woman and have like short cropped black hair and seem to be wearing like they've almost got a little bit of like a uniform-y type thing on. But it's much fancier clothing. Roll initiative for all these.
And
Are you doing a
Medea
group
has
initiative for the similar ones?
I'm gonna do it for everybody just because there's so many people and it's pretty quick. Because otherwise,
Sarah,
I.
remember Medea has
Sorry,
disadvantage.
go ahead.
I have a quick
Yeah, I
gameplay
rolled
question.
twice.
You have a quick what
When
question?
I rolled my initiative, it rolled 2 d20s, and I'm not sure why, even though I just clicked
You
the initiative button.
you have advantage from Ranger.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool,
yeah,
cool,
and
cool.
I fixed
My
that on
bad.
your sheet.
Thank
who
you.
else is supposed to have advantage and it didn't work? Was that Sarah?
Medea. Yeah,
Medea?
Sarah should.
There is a setting for that in your sheet.
I did, but I rolled twice, and the second one was.
I'm gonna turn advantage on initiative on for you for the future, so we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
What was the better roll?
Okay. I think it was it was a 4 both times. So it doesn't change.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
And then
I got 2 5s.
Alveron rolled, but
Weird. It just didn't roll initially for some reason. So
Wow, they all got real good initiatives.
there.
well, they were prepared
The
for
only one-
combat as
fortunately, we're also not in the fight.
yeah.
So
immediately.
it doesn't matter to us, right?
All right.
Sarah, I see only one roll for you on initiative.
Yeah. Did it roll? Do you want me to roll again, Andrew? I saw the dice roll. It just didn't put
I
anything
only
in
see
chat,
one
maybe?
roll. So yeah, go ahead, roll again.
Okay.
That easily.
If this doesn't output right, I'll just roll naturally with a -1. Let's just do that.
13. Okay. Well, doesn't.
Okay, my initiative is actually 13. That's nice.
Much better, but doesn't. You don't go last now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got lost.
I should open up the initiative. Oop. I think the stream can see that now.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. Perhaps appropriately, the woman will go first. I probably should have blocked out their name, but it's fine. Not a big deal. They're going to look around and they're just going to immediately begin casting a spell. I think I already said, but I'll repeat it. They're going to say, I'm not giving this book up without a fight. And they are going to cast Magic Missile at mainly at the main guy who's pointing at her. Yeah, first level.
So all 3
Yeah.
missiles.
So, oh, it just multiplied it. I don't like it when it does that. So change that. But this person's going to take 3, 6, 11 points of damage as you see these sparkly white, very traditional looking bolts of magic fly out, going kind of above the ceiling, arcing up and around before finding their mark, hitting this figure. One of the people in the back is going to just ignoring everybody in the bar is going to, like, they're focused on her. They're not really paying attention to you guys at the moment. They're going to just start charging in. This person is going to you see this gnomish person who's with them kind of jump up on the table. And start to cast Ray of Frost at the... Actually, they're going to cast Witch Bolt. So first level.
That's definitely
missing. Just she.
That's a fucking.
Yeah, that was a terrible roll. She ducks down and, like, out the side. The Witch Bolt tears a hole in the soft cushion and some stuffing, like, you know, it doesn't catch on fire, but it just burns at the edges a little bit, and there's a big hole. You can hear the bartender go, "Oi! Don't destroy!" As it is then... Forgot to change all the token. Sulveran's turn.
So Sulveran is going to turn and look briefly at Alveron and say, "Looks like we get that fight you wanted after all." And he is going to cast Aid on himself, Alveron. That is going to mess me up all the time, and Medea as well.
Oh, we're getting your aid?
You
Okay.
will.
Okay, 5 temporary hit points. Oh, max hit points.
Maximum hit points.
That's
Yeah.
very nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we
And
need to
there-
do anything to have that apply to us?
There's a spot on the sheet for it, actually, if you open it up, right below where your HP bar is. There's a, like, it'll say plus max. You can put the 5 in there. And it'll, yeah, do it like
Yep.
that.
And then just have it be 5 over what it says out of your normal one is.
No, there's a spot
So that way you can
for
get rid of
both. You don't have to do it that way. There's a spot both for temp and max HP on the character sheet.
No, yeah, I did it that way. It displays it so that it doesn't bump up. It just says, "Oh, you've bumped up your max HP," but it doesn't think you also healed 5 HP normally.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you boost
Okay.
your current hit points as well, so that you're at 5 above of whatever you were.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he skipped a cultist.
It's because Charlie's name was originally first because alphabetical order.
I see.
But
Okay.
Charlie's faster than them, so it doesn't matter. Well, they're the same decks, but I would give the player it anyway.
Yeah.
So Sulveran steps up. You play a note on your ocarina. As who all is getting it again? Just the other two at the table?
Yeah, that's a
And
3
yourself?
max one. That's
Okay.
not my Twilight Divinity.
I just wasn't sure if you were giving it to yourself or somebody else. Okay, you 3 are suddenly invigorated, kind of beyond your normal self, as you feel the magic kind of welling up inside you a little bit. Did you want to move?
Yeah, so he is going to, oddly enough, politely push his chair back in as he rises up, and he is just stepping back here, sort of putting himself between these two, who he doesn't know much about, and whatever's going on over here. And his back is sort of towards this top wall here, so it's not quite to the two of them.
Okay, excellent. The cultist that is next will now go. They're going to rush up and around as well to stand to their friend. Nobody else has done anything hostile as of yet, so they're still focused on their.
Can I ask for a quick description? Does it seem like this woman? I want to. Can I suss out the vibes if they're which one seems more evil or fucked up, or if they're both just kind of evil, fucked up folks fighting each other?
Make an insight check. You know that she's not
feel like
super evil because your nose didn't detect anything from it. So she's not you know. That doesn't mean that she's not strictly speaking a good person or anything like that because you didn't.
Yeah.
It's only for stronger things. For just most people, it doesn't. You don't smell anything particular. It definitely feels like the people who have barged in are not good. You're not getting a very good read on her. It's clear that she's been running from them now that you're kind of figuring out the situation. You notice that she already had a couple wounds once the thing dropped, as though she had perhaps previously been in combat before slipping away. She seems like she's trying to keep the book away from them, but her exact motives for that are unclear. You know the book's bad, so the fact that they want it is probably not good, but you're not really sure about her.
Medea has made their snap decision. Yeah, I think that's important.
Okay.
Okay.
This person is going to go. This guy's actually going to hop over towards the bartender and just straight up punch Tall Hand across the face. I'm going to use the battle axe for this. He's actually just kind of whacking the guy.
Just decking him.
Yeah. He makes 2 attacks as well. Okay. Well, the first one, Tall Hand kind of backs up, dodging out of the way. The second one, though, he gets hit across the face and kind of lands on the thing. I will roll damage. 4 plus strength is 2, 3. Okay. He's not knocked out, but he is he's not, he's old for one, so he doesn't have a ton of HP.
He's old and sad.
Yeah, this guy at this point says, "We don't care about anybody else. Don't interfere." As he scans the room as a warning. And I'll give him an intimidation check to see how intimidating he is. Okay. It's not high enough that all of you are immediately intimidated, but most of the people in the tap room are kind of taken aback by this. To oh, if they were thinking about getting involved, they're probably a little bit more hesitant now. This guy's going to run up past everybody as well. Go to here. And he's going to, he has a mace, but he'll actually start to pull out a heavy crossbow and aim it at the woman, hitting and dealing 6 points of damage. Okay. So she's now got a crossbow bolt that kind of, what's not scanned. It cuts her, but doesn't go. It's not a direct hit, but she does take some damage. That's his turn. It's now Alveron, after having gotten through most of the enemies.
Okay.
What are you doing at this point?
So when that door came open, immediately I rushed back by Media and had the sword ready to go because I've had cabin doors be burst open on me, and I've been in enough port fights that when something like this pops off, I'm ready. I've seen the guy who just came in, like the people who just came in. One of them is immediately attacking the bartender, who I was told was supposed to be my friend in town, and that lets me know everything I need to know about these people. This is one of my old buddy Callum's friends behind the bar, and he's getting stomped a little bit. So I think it's time to. I will move. Let's see, 1, 2.
If it matters, just for narrative terms, the bartender is bloodied. He is not looking very good at all. Just to use the mechanical terms that I do.
So I will. All right. My plan is going to be to move up to this guy, attack, and I will have sneak attack on him. And then use my bonus action to disengage, and then move down the rest of the way to here. My next turn, I'll be vaulting over the bar with either acrobatics or athletics, and then attempting to get in the way of this, but I'm going to try to get 1 slash in on this prick.
Okay.
Before
All right.
Go
I
ahead.
move on.
Go ahead and do that.
Let's see if I can actually move my damn self.
Yeah, the ruler is different. I think there's a way to select your token and use the ruler, but I can't remember the hotkey off the top of my head.
Well, for some reason, it's not letting me get rid of the ruler. I'm like clicking on.
If you go in the top left, and you click like the little person and then the box, that should make you clickable again.
There we go. I need to click the box. Okay. So I move here. All right. I will make my rapier attack. Oof. Nope. Well, no point in even rolling the sneak attack, I guess, because that's a 1. That always misses anyways.
Oof, yeah.
So slash out and just miss him completely, but I should still be able to make my and then disengage and then move down the rest of the way here.
Well, I was like, would you have advantage? I don't think so. I think he's still aware enough.
If I was flanking him, maybe, if you want to count that. But
no, I don't really do. I don't really do flanks, and he's not actually engaged with anybody. If you had like maybe made a stealth check or something like that, but
okay. Yeah.
All right.
No, I wanted to keep that bonus action though. So yeah. So now I'm here.
Yeah, you take a slash at him, and it kind of just it's not you're not really committed to this. It kind of just like bounces off of his leather armor as he turns and looks at you. He says, "You'll regret that."
We'll
it's
see.
been Andormedia's turn. Or Medea, go ahead.
Yeah. They're going to look to the other woman, and I think they've made the split-second decision that, well, they're keeping the books from people who very obviously look fucked up. They don't trust any of that. And they're going to walk to here, and I'm going to Hunter's Mark the one directly in front of me, and Medea is going to belt out loud, get through me first, trying to attract their attention.
They're
not necessarily through their voice, but more as being like a.
Sure. I mean,
you're a melee combatant.
You're in between them and their target, so they're going to have to fight you or risk opportunity attacks. Which one?
Yeah, they're
the
Hunter's
one
Mark.
Immediately below you.
Yeah, immediately below me. And then I'm going to just make a single spear attack.
That does hit. That does just hit. They're just wearing leather armor as well.
I'm gonna throw a first level Divine Smite on top of that as well.
Okay.
So that's gonna be.
Yeah. Describe its death.
As they just drive a spear directly through this thing's head. Like, just completely upend the brain out of the skull.
Yeah, they're like not, they think, oh, these, other bar patrons, they're not going to want to get involved. And you hop over, run up, and just spear them. As you drop, they kind of drop into the sand as, the blood starts to congeal in the sand.
Can I make an intimidation check with strength or something to see if they like get the memo?
You could try.
Yeah. Okay. 9, so not great.
They they were prepared for combat, so seeing one of their fellows go down, doesn't seem to do anything. Does your divine smite have a particular look to it?
It looks like thorns immediately grasp through. I think when it kills somebody, it looks like thorns immediately begin to grow through like the face and the skin as their face just contorts. Yeah.
All right.
And then I'm going to look to the woman behind me, sort of like giving a nod that I'm keeping her safe.
They're dead. All right. Excellent.
Yeah.
One of the other ones at this point is going to run over to Alveron, since you have started to engage, and go to slash at you with a scimitar. 11
Right.
missing you, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, even with checks. So they like go, and you like just dodge it away. Maybe give a slight parry from their blow. That's their turn. Uba, it is now your turn.
You're on mute. You're muted.
Oh yeah, I thought you were just.
Thank you. My bad.
That's okay.
I was gonna say, Medea, how did you kill that one person that's in the sand pit?
Oh,
Again?
they just walked up to them, grabbed the spear, and shoved it like from bottom of jaw to top of head, and then just pulled it out.
Okay. Uba at the moment is clapping wildly and like pointing at Will and then pointing at the person that just died and is like, look at those effects, this is amazing, and clapping bravo. They're standing on their chair and clapping. So
Do you do talk out of initiative, Andrew?
Yeah, you can say stuff out of initiative. As long as you
Okay,
don't give
yeah.
a speech, like don't go on and on.
Yeah,
All right, so as she says that, Sulveran is just going to turn and override her next words. Those are no effects. Medea is a very good fighter.
I did indeed kill.
Pretty sure this isn't a show.
Uba is very stunned at this and takes the moment to assess their surroundings and just says, well, shit. They are going to... Let me use my ruler thingy.
Yeah, you're
I
within
think they're...
movement range of a ton of different people.
Yeah, I think that they're explicitly going to try and protect the bartender because they thought the mutton was really, really good. They don't really care about the other people.
The lady, forget her. We're protecting the bartender. You shouldn't have punched him.
So Uba is going to... wait, how did you get rid of your ruler again?
You want to click on the sort of square with 4 corners things?
Got it, okay. So I only have a 25-foot movement range, so I'm going to go here.
Okay.
And I am going to use... I'll use my javelin that I have, and I'm going to chuck it at the dwarf that's next to the barkeeper.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, are you a melee ranger?
I am. I have javelins and a dagger.
Yep, and you
Oh,
can
neat.
you can roll that if you go into your inventory and where the little icon is for the javelin. Click on that, and it'll roll with your modifiers and everything.
Okay, cool. Roll.
Twist.
Ooh.
Oh.
I mean, that hits, doesn't it?
No, not against this guy.
Okay.
This guy has a armor and a shield. So you get a good throw in, and it flies through as the person. They're looking around. They're kind of aware of their surroundings. They're not just focused on this one guy. They kind of bring up their shield boom, as your javelin hits it, glancing away, probably like boom into the bar. They
Okay.
they look at you and said, "Well, I warned you." You still
that
have a
sucks.
bonus action. If you want, you could Hunter's Mark somebody or something like that.
Yeah, all hunters mark the same person.
That fellow.
Yes.
And remember, you can Hunter's Mark before you attack as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just do it now. So he has hunter's mark on him.
Hunter's Mark. All right.
What does your hunter's mark look like, if I can ask? If you have any description.
I didn't actually come up with one. Let me get back to you on that.
Okay.
Take out this other art.
And then that's the end of my turn.
Well, the names being revealed really does suss out the vibes.
I mean, I think it's
Yeah,
pretty
right.
obvious what this guy's about. Well, yeah, whatever. The art in there is not the one I wanted to use. That's like popping out with the chat, but it's not. A different art than the stat block gives me. Oh yeah, it says it in the turn order too. Because the token's got a different name.
Mhm.
Let me fix that real quick. He's supposed to just be
It's okay.
robed figure. Especially since Asmodeus does not exist in this world. Okay. He is going
Asmodeus is actually just a guy.
just a guy. He's going to pull out his scepter and is going to
I just want to give a quick shout out to Derek, who might be watching this right now.
I have not had the chance to open the stream because my laptop would crash. I'm curious.
Okay, yes, he is going to point a finger again at the woman, but this time begin enchanting a spell and going to cast Hold Person. They're going to make a wisdom save. Failing. So you could tell they've cast a spell, but they're getting ready to move, especially now that, the scene has exploded and you guys are kind of starting to step into fight. They're seeing an opportunity to perhaps run. They go to move, like they start to take a couple steps, but then freeze mid-motion, like turning a look, and he says, I told you, woman, I'm going to take that book from you. It would come more easily than that. And he's going to kind of just casually begin to move forward. It is then another cultist's turn. They're going to run over to where Uba is. Take a swing. Critting you for a total of 9 damage. So they run up.
Wow.
So you're focused on this other guy, and they just like slash you across the shoulder as you're kind of trickling blood out now. It is then Will's turn. Will, everybody else has kind of, the bar has exploded into combat.
Aw.
Uba has gone off and is fighting. All the people at the other table are now engaged with various masked figures. Clearly this rogue man and this woman are both casting spells at each other, kind of in their own battle, a little bit separate from perhaps the rest of the melee. What are you doing?
Will, I accidentally clicked a wisdom save thing. That was not related to anything. It was
okay.
useful because it was garbage.
Well, it was a raw one, so got that out of the way.
Alright, don't worry. I don't make rolls in combat. That's not how bards work. So I think Will had slightly started turning to Carla and kind of yells, I was going to make sure that you were going to pay us before this, but just assume you will. And we'll kind of step up onto the table using the chair's like lane to get onto the table. and begins to like pull her hands together and make like a swirling motion, and says, Roland Royal, your brain will toil, and then cast Discordant Dysrhythmia on the robed figure. Let me get that spell.
You give them an irregular heartbeat. What a spell.
It's an irregular brain rhythm, because it's definitely legally just dissonant whispers.
You give them fucking brain damage as a spell?
It's certainly not another spell that we've just renamed.
All of my spells are that. It's a DC 14 Wisdom save.
Okay. They fail. So they're going to take 11 points
Get
of
out of here,
psychic
nerd.
damage.
As well,
And
concentration.
then they just
save, right?
stagger away as far as they can.
Yes, they're going to make a concentration save. They're still standing, although they look between the magic missiles and now the psychic effect. They're like holding their head. Ugh. They do they fall down? I forget how this.
No, this is the
No.
one where they walk away.
Yeah, after run.
Okay.
Oh, that's sick as hell.
Slowly stagger away because they
their
have
turn,
no,
right?
they haven't vertigo.
Yeah.
No, they use their reaction straight away
Okay.
to do it.
To their full movement speed?
Yes.
Okay. So he begins to grip his and like starts to stumble backwards quite rapidly. 5, 10, 30, down to here. To stand next to the other rope.
Do I notice if like her body unparalyzes? I have hold.
I'm about to roll his con save.
Come on, low
I'll do
rolls.
something else. Will is just Sherlock Holmesing at all
13,
times.
that's still a success.
Annoying.
He does not drop concentration, unfortunately.
But I think she kind of scans the room and looks at Alveron, who's clearly going to help the bartender, who she also has a kinship with, and she yells out, "You with the jeweler." That's not her voice. Whatever. You, the jeweler. You should use your height advantage over that dwarf. He looks like he needs a stabbing. And give bardic inspiration.
Okay. Who you give to again?
Alveron.
Okay. So now Uva and Alveron have practice.
Bardic inspiration is a step ladder emotionally.
Don't forget about that. Uba probably could have used it on the javelin throw, but we'll try to remember that. I tend to forget about bardic inspiration when I play as well.
Will remind people
Yes.
if Will wants them to use it in that spot.
Okay.
Because Will is always like watching the whole battlefield.
The cultist, now seeing that you have entered combat, make it 30. Oh, they can't get to you.
What a shock, Will thinks, watching the person walk towards them.
They can get to me. as far as I
Yeah,
know.
I think they're gonna go for Will because they just attacked the main guy.
Yeah.
So they're gonna get up to you and like they pull out their spear. They're getting ready to attack you, but they can't do it on this turn. They'll move and dash over to you, kind of interpose themselves again. And then we're back to the top. At the end of the round, whoever wants to for the group, roll me good die, bad die. It's 2d20. This is for the stream's sake. This is a mechanic I use sometimes. A lot of times, in the past, I've mainly rolled it just on my own, but I'm starting to like making other people roll it too. So yeah, whichever of the 5 of you wants to roll that, may do so. Whoever is feeling lucky, perhaps.
Oh man, you had to
go
put that
ahead.
qualifier, didn't you?
Yeah.
I vote we make Marisa because they seem to get a lot of 20s.
I'll give it a shot. So you
Yeah.
said 2
No pressure or anything.
d20s?
Yes, 2d20s, just flat, no modifiers.
Okay.
Can you use Bardic Inspiration on the first die?
Hooray!
That is
Wow.
a. I'll open this up for the stream. That is a 20
Wait, is this bad?
and a 10. This is
Did I
good
not
for
No,
you
want
no,
guys.
you got the good die
You
as
got
a
good
20.
Okay.
Good die, bad die. This is just, it's something I use
have
for
the
like
gift of prophecy.
a random chance thing that I don't necessarily want to decide. So, though they were intimidated, some of the bar seems to kind of react as combat's going on. They're seeing this happen. they don't like these people who have just come and punched their bartender. Some of these people are regulars. So they're going to not enter into combat, but start chucking various things. The two kobolds pick up like a chicken leg and just throw it at one of the cultists. Some of the dwarves in the back pick up cups and start to chuck them. So basically, you guys are going to get advantage on one roll of your choice in the next round. It could be an attack roll, a saving throw, whatever it is, to represent that they are helping to kind of distract these enemies. You have the battlefield tactical advantage at the moment as they're kind of being pelted by things.
I have to ask, would it be hard to concentrate on a spell when you're getting bottles and shit thrown at you?
It would be. And I'll say if you want to forego your own to give an enemy disadvantage, you may do that as well. If you want to forego your advantage to be like, he gets disadvantage on this roll, that's okay as well. It is Kayla's turn. I forget if old person is every turn. Yes, they get to make. So they don't get to go.
End of its turn, yeah.
Yeah, they don't get to do anything this turn, but they'll make another wisdom save. They're rolling really bad on wisdom saves. So they're still frozen. They've moved slightly, like to turn to look at Will, but they can't say anything, and they're not able to move enough to actually really move. So that's their turn. The cultist standing next to Medea is going to take a swipe at you with their scimitar, enraged at having their companion killed in front of them. That's going to hit you, and you take 4 points of slashing damage as they bring their scimitar down, kind of finding a good chink in your armor. They're going to move slightly, just to not out of your range or anything, but just to reposition a little bit as they kind of move in the sand pit. To change their token, so it doesn't say pirate deck wizard because that's not what they are.
Emotionally, they are now.
Wizard. It's just the.
That's what they dreamt to be.
Yeah,
They probably were a pirate, but they're not anymore. Now they're just a different wizard. Seeing everything change quite quickly. Their witch bolt missed, so they don't really have that. They're going to look at, I think, God, they could attack anybody, really. I think they're going to attack Uba because you're just right there.
Aw.
So they're going to shoot an acid arrow at you. I think Melf's acid arrow. They can't hit shit today. They begin chanting a spell, and you see an acidic arrow kind of form above their head as they begin to kind of blah 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 blah, and throw it down at you. But Uba, you kind of just like tilt your head, and it starts to melt the chair behind you, just into the wood, as it kind of just starts to not like fully disintegrate or anything, but clearly this chair is going to probably break the next time somebody sits on it. It's lost most of its structural integrity.
Yeah.
They are going to, since people have kind of moved towards them, they're also going to back up slightly on the table. That one's dead. So I'm just going to remove them. Sulveran, it is now your turn. Again, the combat has exploded since you cast aid and kind of backed up. What are you going to do?
So, rules for measurement check. 20-foot cube, is it 20 foot from center or is it 20 foot across? So is it 40 foot across or is it 20 foot across?
A 20-foot cube is 20 feet. So it's going to be 4 squares, basically.
Got it.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
I think diameter, not radius, essentially.
Got it.
For the cube, it's one side. One side is 20 feet.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
All right. So Sulveran is going to turn, regard this one with Will, and then look back at Medea and he is going to call out to Medea. You good?
I am perfectly fine.
And so he is going to turn around, and if I can remember how to grab a person, he is going to close in on this one.
Right. Taking a couple steps
And
forward.
yeah, he just takes a couple very slow, deliberate steps forward, his armor just kind of clacking as he goes. And he's bringing himself in close, but instead of drawing his war pick, which still is hanging out on his back, he is going to level his shield, and with his other hand, he is going to, if it'll come here. Okay, maybe?
What are you doing?
I mean, hopefully.
Trying to cast and see if it works.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So I will never get above a 4 on this Sacred Flame, it seems.
No, no, you just
Dexterity saving throw.
this is a saving throw, so it doesn't matter if you're next to them. That's
Yeah,
nice.
that's a little weird. This is technically a ranged attack, but it's a saving throw, so I guess that's normal. I don't think I've ever encountered this issue before. That's fine. Like a little strange thing.
I figured I'd just narrate only if it hit.
Sure. They will make a dex save. They like just you walk up to them and like basically like try to slam it into them. But they just quickly out of the way as the Sacred Flame bashes against the table.
All right. He has no actions left, but is he able to try to draw their attention?
If you want, everyone's pretty occupied, so I'd let you make like a depending on how you want to do it, like a performance or intimidation check at disadvantage, just because everyone's kind of
Well, he only wants this one's attention.
Oh, you just want that one?
He only wants the one attacking Will.
You could totally make a performance or intimidation check to try to make them focus on you rather than the bard, who might not be as threatening seeming.
Yeah. He is just going to recall Medea's familiar trick, and he is at the top of his lungs going to roar.
Oh
Not
no!
very loudly.
It comes out as like ah, like you go to roar, but it sounds more like a scream. So it's like
a yodel.
What? He looks confused.
There's a little snort in there.
Perhaps not drawn to attack you, but they might do anyways. We'll see what happens with that. All right. It's gonna be your turn. The guy next to the bartender is going to be like, "Oh, starting to do a fight. My favorite." And grab onto, like, just leap onto the bar and take a big swing down at Alvaro with his battle axe. This guy gets 2 attacks.
Oh
He's
shit!
scary.
I think that one hits. It's not both damage. It's just the
What's your AC?
it's just the first one.
14.
Yeah. So you take.
Nah.
Why is it rolling 2? I'm gonna click that one. Oh, I clicked javelin. That's why. Yes. Okay. Well, that's fine. He sticks you with the javelin at first, and you take 6 points of damage from that. Then he'll come down with switching to the battle axe. Click the wrong thing. Hitting you again for 9 points of damage. Like, just bring it down onto your shoulder.
Are you down?
No, they're not down.
No.
Okay.
But they had the HP buff as well, so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. I'm not sure I have it loaded correctly on the character sheet, but that is helping immensely.
That's fine.
You bloodied.
You should be at 10 now, I think. After all that.
No. If I just took 9, I'll be at 11.
You took 6 damage
5.
and then 9 damage.
Yeah.
You took 15 damage in total.
Right, and I had 26 hit points.
And
So
you had the +5 from aid.
You should be at 11.
At 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It just says 20 on when I go look at the sheet. Oh, there it goes. Okay. They are bloodied technically because their max is increased. So yes, they are looking like hard pressed at this point. They've got a small axe wound on their back and a small
Not having their
shoulder
best
wound
moment
from the
as
javelin. Yeah, a little bit. They're between two enemies as well.
Yeah, that does not have me feeling good.
This big crossbow guy is going to switch over to his mace and take a step over towards Medea, saying, "May have gotten one, but will never take us all." And bring it down with the mace. They get 2 attacks with this.
Okay. Missing.
That misses. That misses as well. So they're like hitting the sand.
It just knocks off the armor.
Okay, like bouncing off the armor. Like splashes of sand roll up as they bring the mace all the way down to the ground. They still.
I did.
It is then Alveron's turn.
Okay. Well, I think over here. I want to check something.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, that'll use up my bonus action though. Okay. Well, that should be fine then. In that case, I should be able to. No one else is in combat with him. I'm the only person. So my.
I'll say if for sneak attack purposes, the bartender will also be in combat with him.
Also, you have advantage from the one thing at the start of combat, anyways. So you'd get sneak attack from that regardless.
Okay, so Swashbuckler has like an additional roll on. I don't necessarily need advantage if I'm like the only person dueling someone, but I do appreciate that because that does help. Because it's a weird like not juxtaposition, it's like additional layers to rules.
Yeah.
So I will sneak attack then on this guy, and I worry I'm blowing it early, but I will go for it. So let me see here. Rapier attack.
That hits.
Yeah.
And then I also get. This should roll 2. Yep. Oh, damn. All right.
Oh, you get to double your sneak attack? Damn.
No, it's just 2 at.
It's 2d6
yeah.
at 3.
That's pretty damn good.
Well, I mean, they rolled 2 6s, so.
Yeah, that really helped.
21 damage. That fucking rocks.
Yeah, they're bloodied now, so they like bring down these 2 attacks and like laugh at you as you immediately like just stab them up in like the thigh, slicing deep and drawn across them, dealing a pretty grievous wound. It's like and look at you with hate in their eyes.
Yep. Now I will. Let's see. Is anyone close enough? I don't know if y'all would notice. I don't know if in the chaos of battle you would notice, but for the sake of just making sure it's up there,
I think Uba would notice for sure. They're like looking in that direction.
I give the fighter, this guy on top of the bar, a wink and kind of a come hither motion. Not a sexy come hither motion, but like a.
You're not like, yeah, you're more like come on.
I was really hoping it was a sexy come hither motion.
Yeah, you're like,
I save that for people who can actually.
And I mean, Will and Al and Sulveran would definitely notice you appearing next to them suddenly as well.
Yep, and just coming out and so actually then that's very fair. Sulveran, you would like right before I appear, you would smell the kind of salt air if you've been by the ocean. You would smell the salt air real quick, and you would almost hear for a second waves crashing on a beach, and all of a sudden I am standing next to you with a bloody rapier, and my eyes are deadlocked on this guy with the funny headdress, just ready to go.
Yeah, there's like a familiar to, especially to Will, familiar sound as this person just appears, disappearing
Sulveran
from
just
where they
tilts
were.
his head very dramatically, listening.
It reminds you of the sounds of the lake lapping on the shore, but much louder, much more impressive. And even though you've never been to the ocean, you think that might be what it might be. As that happens, it is now Medea's turn.
I would like to turn my hunter's mark towards the brute who said, "Stay still."
Right? They are now
Um,
marked. I'm using,
and then I'm going to.
just because you both have it, I'm using a sort of arrow thing for Medea's hunter's mark and more of a like eye for Uba's, just to differentiate that.
Alright, and then I'm going to make the attack with advantage on them. I'll assume a 24 hits.
Oh yeah. Gonna hit anything at
Okay.
this level. 7
Not great
points of
rolls.
damage. Okay. Yeah, a 1 and a 2.
Yep.
You stab out
Yep.
at them, and it does just pierce through their leather armor, although they don't take much of a hit at all. Just choices. But you're stronger than that.
At least mine hit.
It is then the cultist's turn. They were looking at Will, like getting ready to make another slash, and it disappears as they go. Look around. Turning around, they see that their target has left, so they're going to instead take a quick step over and take a slash at Uba. Uba, you deftly dodge out of the way of backing up as that happens. And then it is your turn.
So, question, is the dwarf that's standing on the counter, is he bloodied?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. So Uba thinks that it would be fun to also fight on the counter and is going to move over to where the dwarf is.
Okay. If you move away from the other two, you will take attacks from them, just so you know. Attacks of opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, then maybe I won't do that.
Okay.
So Uba will attack the one directly in front of them then, because that was the one that hit them the last turn.
Sure.
Do you want to throw a hunter's mark down or something?
They have hunter's mark on the dwarf. Although
okay.
you could cast it again if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I think I'm not gonna cast it, but I am gonna roll to hit. And can I use my advantage that you said at the beginning of combat?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so that's 2 d20s, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Or if you well, that's fine.
Whoops.
You can also shift click on the icon. It's definitely a hit. You can also shift click on the javelin icon to make it roll the javelin with advantage.
Okay, I'm gonna actually use my dagger instead of the javelin this time.
Fine. So go ahead and roll a d4 plus 4.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a d4, and then I also want to use my bardic inspiration, so that would be a d6 too, right?
Yes.
you can't use it
can't
on
do
damage. No.
That's the different subclass, right?
Yeah.
Or not yet. One of those.
Yeah, I am not that god.
Yeah. You can only use that on attack rolls, saving throws, basically anything else.
Oh, I can't use it on damage.
But not damage, yeah. No.
Okay, then I'll just do my dagger, and then would this also count with my +2 one-handed melee weapon, and then they're a humanoid?
Yes, so
Okay.
+8 instead, I believe. Yeah,
okay.
+8.
Okay, let me roll the d4.
Wow, I think they definitely die because you
do
enough damage automatically to kill them. They don't have that much
health.
health.
Okay.
These people have baby age.
Is real good at murdering humans.
Yeah, so
4 4 plus 8 is 12. I'm mapping that right? Yes.
Yes.
What does it look like when Uba kills this person with their dagger?
Well, I'm assuming that this person is like a normal height, and Uba's only 3 feet tall, so they're gonna try and find like a little gap in one of their like maybe like their armor around like their hips and is just gonna like stab as hard as they can.
Okay. It's probably also a dwarf, but they're still a little bit taller than you.
Oh,
I know
okay.
they're all visually human icons, but we're in a dwarven city. Most of the people here are dwarves.
That's fair. Okay, but still, they're gonna go for like a chink,
Right.
kind of like near their stomach or their hips, and just hit as deep as they can.
You just stab down, going straight through armor, hitting down into the kidney as they go, and just collapse dead.
Sweet.
All right, Uba just immediately killing one. The robed figure. Jack, does your spell, is that ongoing, or that's just like a one-off thing?
That's a one-off.
Okay, they are good again. They shake their head, look over at Will, still concentrating on hold person. So they can't do another concentration spell. They, like, only have concentration spells.
Nerd.
They're gonna cast Cure Wounds on themselves. At their level. Okay.
Spellcasters are all dorks except for bards.
They take a moment to like kind of soothe their temples a little bit as they chant, and you can see like a relief wash over their face from the previous like psychic damage that they had taken. They're also going to move around this way. 30, since there's less people over that way. And then is Will's turn.
Okay. I know what I want to do. Can I, given that I'm on the table and the guy in front of me is like a relatively short dwarf, can I just like take a step onto his shoulder and then jump over Alveron?
You can make an acrobatics check to do that. Yeah, I'll say it's not going to be too difficult.
Oh, yeah. I mean, jumping off dwarves is like something that Will's never done, but she just assumes is second nature to this adventuring moment.
They're just sort of living in this situation.
Oh yeah, almost a crit. You spring. You just like take a. They're looking at Will, who's just suddenly appeared. So you kind of take a step and springboard off their shoulder, jumping past them. I'll say with that, you won't even take a attack of opportunity. They're too stunned by the whole situation and surrounded to think to take a swipe at you at this point.
And then I can kind of tell. Can I tell that the wizard served on a ship? Like, are they wearing some ship-like clothes?
They're wearing like an open shirt, like a brown vest and a white shirt open. They've got breeches on, long boots, and their hair done up. They have a look of a sailor to you. They're not wearing any shoes, much like many people on boats just don't wear shoes. So they do look
Bare
like a
chest,
bit of a
bare
sailor. Bare chest, bare feet.
Classic science.
Will like basically just point and using Captain's voice will say, "Keep your mouth shut around your betters." You imitating her captain's voice instead of her own voice.
Okay.
Suggestion.
And the suggestion is to
all my things are wisdom.
You basically want to try
to not speak.
Okay.
I want to take away verbal.
You want to try to mute
verbal
them.
stuff first.
Got it.
They can't hear either right now, as far as I know, from the other spell.
From which other spell?
The one you used to scramble.
Oh no, this is.
It's a different guy.
I don't care about the robed figure anymore. I already asserted dominance as a spellcaster over the robed figure. Like,
They're targeting the wizard, not the robed figure. Okay, they're gonna make a wisdom saving throw. They do succeed, so they kind of look at you and go, "Ugh,
Absurd. Nobody should be able to make that save.
not gonna be that easy.
Yeah.
Will kind of just laughs and will at this point reach underneath her coat to draw her rapier.
They're just like, I never shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you can't stop me from talking. Don't you know I'm the talking gnome? That's my thing.
People have told me to
The
shut up for years. I never.
cultist who has just been springboarded off of and is was originally going to attack one bard on a table is now flanked by a Gathite on one side and a human on the other one. Not really in a good place to escape. They're just going to take a swing, I'll say, at Sulveran, just because you attacked them already, and the Will hasn't done anything yet. I think that hits you, Sulveran. No. Oh yeah, I forgot. You've got good AC.
Yeah.
You got you got a shield and stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it
18
would
AC.
hit you. They kind of go slash down, and you at the very last second bring your shield up and boom, block it from getting into you.
That feels good. My level 9 character in my other game doesn't have 18 AC.
There we go.
Gotta buy me a beer before you can stick it into me.
They're going to. No, they're not going to move. There's not really another good spot for them.
In that case, Medea and Alveron have already both bought him beers, so
Actually, he's going
Yeah.
to try to move away from all of you. He does not want to be flanked by these two people. So he's going to try to roll over the table. 5,
Does that provoke an
Uh,
attack of opportunity from both of us?
30. Yes, he will take an attack of opportunity from both of you. Rather than stand around and wait to get hit by both of you, he'll just try to run away now.
Okay. All right.
Probably a
just
bad
to let
idea on
you.
his part.
Yeah, just I do still get sneak attack on that because
Mhm.
they're
That's
right there next to me.
He wouldn't know. He's trying to run. Yeah, that hits.
I'm
given
assuming
that
you
Yes. Go ahead, Charlie.
I don't seem to have I have an unarmed attack available on my character sheet, but
Oh,
is
that's
it
right.
just
You haven't-
1d20 plus?
Yeah, it would be 1d.
You can also
1d
use your
plus
war
strength.
pick here if
You
you
could
want.
use your war pick. I'd allow you to have had it out, even though you cast a spell last time.
With clerics and paladins, you can have a holy symbol in your shield and use that as your spellcasting focus specifically.
Okay. So in that case, he is going to do his best to knock the hell out of him with his war pick. We'll see how that goes.
You both hit together. You won't even actually move. Together, you kill this person. They they go to roll on the table. They make a quick hook as they are suddenly stabbed and then picked in the head. Ugh. Dead on the table. The two of you share a glance after sharing this kill.
Bought me a drink and then killed someone for me.
Hey, I guess you're fighting
What a
together. I guess
In some
Alveron,
cultures, that's almost a marriage proposal.
right? All right.
The cudgel.
The woman is
And what are
going
you?
to
You gotta make that wisdom save, yeah?
see. They're not terrible at this. I'm just rolling awful. Okay, this time they make it finally.
Yeah.
Ugh, breaking free. It happens at the end of their turn, so they still don't get to do anything, but they can now move about as normal.
They can now do anything.
They can now do anything.
They can now answer if they're going to pay us for this, because will just leave now.
They'll shout out.
Just imagining Will sees them finally start being able to move their arms. It's just money.
Make some money symbol.
Do you have it?
Yes, gold for each of you.
Oh, great, excellent. I'll actually start trying then.
I love money.
Starving artists, I swear to God.
The cultist standing next to Medea is going to sidestep and take a swing, hitting you surprisingly.
Barely.
Just like slashing you across the back as you take 5 points of damage.
Yeah.
The gnomish wizard is going to look at Will and say, "My turn." They're going to cast you. Why not? We'll do Melf's acid arrow again.
Oof.
Hitting.
Ooh.
Damn, son.
Yep.
You take 44, so you take 13 points of damage now, as the acid splashes across your chest, searing in. And then we'll remember at the end of your next turn, you're going to take another 2d4, another 5.
Okay. Yeah.
They laugh.
For a bard, that's
See?
Was
This
this
is
Medea?
fine.
Are you bloodied from just that? I'm curious.
Yes, I'm bloodied from taking 13 damage.
I rolled really good on those on 44. It was 1 4 and 3 3s.
Sorry for
Only
calling.
just. I'm literally the top of my bloodied range.
They are going to. They're not going to move. They like where they're standing. They just like stand and like hands on shoulders, laughing at you.
They're a big fan of standing.
Sulveran, it is now your turn. The person you were fighting, now slain, will turn to flee.
So correct. Alveron is bloodied.
Mm-hmm.
Will is bloodied, and Medea is slightly injured.
Correct.
Yeah, Medea looks completely unperturbed, like they're injured, but they're fine.
Yeah. If it matters to you, the woman is also injured, but not bloodied.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't
and
matter.
don't forget the
and
bartender's
still injured.
The bartender's
He's still
bloodied.
injured,
Yeah. He's not looking hot.
All right.
Oh, that's
So in that case, we're gonna go ahead, and Sulveran is going to. Well, at any rate, still works. It's just not great.
It's still 1d6 plus your level, so that's 4.
4.
4 point every. Who are you giving it to? Basically, the whole party, the bartender and the woman.
He is going to gesture, and everybody, the bartender, the woman, and anybody who has been throwing stuff.
Okay.
Is just going to. He's just going to sweep his arm out, up to 10 people.
Yeah, you probably don't have I'll say you'll get like the kobolds and the 2 guys at the bar. Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
It's only your bonus action, yeah? Oh no, that's your action.
My action.
Yeah, and
one of
the female dwarves as well.
Okay,
and just so everybody knows, we're playing a title cleric, but the challenge divinity is super strong. It's, I think, unbalanced, so we've changed it slightly. It's 1 time they get 1d6 plus their level temp HP to 10 people that they can see. So we removed the range a little bit and buffed it slightly in that way, but also nerfed it so it's not, a temp HP every single round, making everybody super, super unkillable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and so as
for 10 creatures, that's still 40 points of temp HP.
It's pretty good, yeah. Like, it's still crazy, but it's just not as crazy.
Yeah.
And so as you do that, you're going to each of the people affected by it, this lady over here, the bartender, everyone who's been fighting is going to just feel like they're sitting at a fire briefly, just enjoying the smell of hearth smoke, knowing that food is coming to you. It's very comforting, the way you feel at twilight when you're sitting down to dinner with your family. And then he is going to nod at Alveron. Say your name for me, Sean.
Alveron.
Alveron, and he is going to stalk away from the corpse, flicking brain matter off of his pick as he goes, and just closing up almost to this person, but stopping a bit short. He's gonna call at him as he does. All right. And with that much HP, you probably could still use a little bit more. Right, Sean?
A little more would be appreciated, yes. Especially I'm about to go and like get back into combat, so yes, please.
Yeah. So as he passes you, he just very casually turns towards you and casts Healing Word. And let's see if that ever loads. It does.
I mean, it's still pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
On a side
And
note, I had to drop.
he doesn't know you very well, so you just feel like, somebody has slapped like an antiseptic all over those cuts, all that axe cut that you took, and just, rubbed it in real hard.
We appreciate it, I promise you.
It's like a stinging healing. I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I have hydrogen peroxide on my owies.
Yeah.
Alveron would call their injuries owies.
That's
I have a boo-boo, and I am not ashamed.
Stop whining.
All right. The dwarf Balak shielded fighter. It's his turn. His quarry has left. I think he can get to you. 5, 10. No, not without taking an attack. 30. He could get to you, but he would have to move by either Uba or Alveron. I think he's going to. I think he's going to attack Alveron. He sees that you're like casting magic, healing everybody, and he'll say, "Hey, no more of that."
Sulveran, right?
Oh, sorry, Sulveran. God, those names are very similar, even though they're completely different.
I chose my first. It's not my fault.
3 syllables and kind of an on at the end of it. I get it.
I've just been going by
Cool.
Sol and now.
Yeah.
All right. He's going to bring his battle axe down on you twice. Missing both times. The first one you block with your shield. The second one he takes a big swing that you kind of just take a step back out of the way. He says, "Oh, you're a tough one."
Sulveran, what the hell is your AC?
18. Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
damn.
Shields are great. That +2 really
18
makes
AC
a
gang up
difference.
here.
Plus heavy armor.
Yeah, plus heavy armor.
Yeah.
The one attacking Medea is going to go now, and forgot he should have advantage on his attacks because pack tactics. He's got pack. So I'll do that this time.
Oh, okay.
And there was a guy both times, but I forgot last time. So he's going to take 2 swings at you this time. Say,
All right.
now I've got you in a good spot. Still missing.
Missing.
Hitting the second time.
Hitting barely.
So he takes a big swing as the other guy is like kind of positioning himself so you're not able to back up as easily as you might, but you still manage to dodge the first one. The second one, however, you kind of stumble slightly in the sand, and he just boom pounds on your breastplate. You take 6 points of bludgeoning damage. He says, "Huh, I got you one." Is then Alveron's turn.
Gotcha. I will be moving to the wizard. That still puts me at 30 feet right there. I will use my bonus action to cast Hex on them. I don't know if the macro is going to roll damage automatically or if it does the thing, but
it will roll
Hex
damage,
is now
but it's fine.
Okay, so I'll wait on that. But so I'm casting Hex on them, so I have an additional D6 necrotic on any attacks centered on this mage.
Good Hex icon.
And I do also have sneak attack on them as well.
Okay. Yep.
So I will.
This party has a lot of like bonus damage die things. Interesting how that happens.
Yeah.
So
I don't know,
then
it's
sneak attack as well. And Hex.
Then Hex.
14. Okay, yeah.
So it's giving me. I don't have an available spell slot, but I think that's just because of the feature.
Because of the way that you have it. It's once per day, I think, right? For you.
Once per rest. Once
Okay,
per
yeah,
rest.
once per short rest, right? Because of
So I'll just roll it
so
real
this
quick.
was taken
It's
through a
1d6.
feat, just so everybody knows.
Yes, it is. It's part of my. Well, I won't tell you what, but it is a feat. So it's a total of 7 plus 7 is 14,
15
15
damage.
points of damage.
Right. They laughing, gloating at Will as you like run up. They go, "Ah, what's this?" Ah! As you just like stab them, ramming them in the gut. Ah! Ugh. They look bloodied at this point. They're not having a good time.
And I don't know if it's relevant right now or later, but Sean, since you're running a rogue, there is a dim light 30-foot radius sphere around Sulveran. So
Ooh. Okay.
yes.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All
It is then
right.
Medea's turn.
They're going to continue trying to gut the one in front of them, as they've sort of got like a unfriendly competition going.
Oh, fix the cameras.
Missing. And then that's my entire turn.
Level 3.
The joys of being a marshal at before level 5. Yep, that's my turn. As they just sort of whiff the spear above the head, trying to stab them directly in the skull, perhaps out of haste. And I end my turn.
Sorry, I'm just Sarah's internet. They're not on their normal computer, so they were had to turn theirs off for that sake. So I'm just I fixed everything real quick. Wasn't that hard.
Okay. Yeah.
Although really wrong for the thing.
How much do I hate this gnomish wizard?
I can fix my posture finally.
There. All right, there we go. Got it. All right, the cultist thing goes. The one next to Uba. They are going to, I think, go around to here, just kind of pushing the chair aside. They're going to take a swing with their scimitar, just whiffing at you. These guys are not as competent as some of the other fighters. They're warm bodies, one might say. But it is then Uba's turn. And you guys all get that sense from having followed them. These guys are just mooks. There are really the 4 that you have to worry about. The wizard, the robed guy, and the 2 like fighters. Those are the competent people in this group.
Okay.
So just to double check, if I try to attack the dwarf with the hunter's mark right now, would that give me a penalty from going away from the cultist above me?
No,
Or
you
would-
could move to him. Actually, conveniently, I think. Well, no, even if you hadn't moved, you can move kitty corner with him, next to him, and not take an attack, because you'll still be within 5 feet of him.
Okay, so I'm gonna move over here and get ready to attack the dwarf guy with my dagger. So I would like to roll to hit, but then can I also use Bardic Inspiration now?
Yes, you may. You can also decide after you see the roll. I believe that's right.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's been a while
So
since
I'll
done a
roll
bard.
first.
We've had a bard. Okay.
I feel like it's gonna miss regardless, so
yeah. I mean, you have
I'll just save it.
You have a +6, so it would be 8 right now. You don't know what their AC is, but you know it's a little higher.
Yeah, I don't think I'd hit even if I got a 6, so I'm just gonna accept the fact that I missed.
Okay, sure. Uba runs up and goes to.
Wait, have you used your advantage yet?
I did.
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
They used it pretty quickly, I think.
I used it the last turn.
Yeah. Yes, so you go in to stab at them, but they just kind of out of the way. I suppose I can take the two of you. The robed figure's turn, now feeling reinvigorated and having lost concentration. He'll say, do you really want these people to die for you? He will do the evil guy thing and say,
Well-known feature in 5e.
yes. He'll like look at the girl and say, just give up the book, as he goes to like grab at the bartender, or everyone in this room will pay for it. He's not gonna cast. He's gonna hold his action for her to. If she attacks him, he's going to cast a spell on the guy.
Ooh.
Basically, if she doesn't like immediately drop the book, he's going to attack the bartender. It is then Will's turn.
So you said that we had an advantage each? Is that how it works?
Correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can also give an enemy
Or you
advantage.
could
That I can give disadvantage
to an enemy. Yeah. He is technically, I believe, with holding spell actions. I think he's concentrating on a spell.
He's concentrating.
Just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
If you're holding a spell, I believe, or have a spell ready, you still have to maintain the concentration.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, you cast it straight away, and then its concentration is up, and like if the concentration breaks, you can Fine, I suppose.
Like,
I don't really want that guy to die, but also don't really want to cast any of my spells to. Alright. I think Will kind of under her breath just murmurs "Shipwrights help me," and underneath him, the floorboard, the wood of the deck, not the deck, the
bar,
bar begins to kind of move a little bit, and then rigging rope spectrally comes up, and I'll hold person on him and give him disadvantage on the save.
All right, nice. Okay, so he will make a wisdom saving throw with disadvantage.
Yes, all my spells are wisdom saving throws.
Although he would fail anyways. He does
fail with both.
Fail.
Old person does have concentration as well.
Does that break concentration? Let me look at.
Yeah, because incapacitation and concentration. I think
he already had disadvantage on. Was it a wisdom check?
Paralyze. Okay.
Yeah.
Incapacitated, can't move.
Save.
Yeah, you can't concentrate on a spell if you're incapacitated or paralyzed.
Okay.
It gives paralysis.
Well, he is incapacitated, so he can't do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And will turn to the woman and say, "Now's your chance. He's stuck on the bar," and give bardic inspiration.
Nice. Okay. She gives a nod at you, and he like, you had the guy by like the cuff, and he's like frozen. He like turns his eye to like glare at you in the corner.
Better get my room comped after that.
It is then her turn. Okay, she's going to move forward. To here and cast Shadow Blade as a bonus action.
Ooh.
That's fruity.
So she summons a sort of spectral blade, like solidified. I'm going to flavor it, instead of being shadowy, it's more like a blade of light, although it's the same spell. So it's like appears in her hand, and she's going to throw it at him for her action.
Yeah.
That's kind of fruity.
Oh, this is going to be I'm just going to use
Disadvantage.
her. I'm just going to use her dagger for the roll, but it's going to be the Shadow Blade. Wish it rolled an attack roll when I clicked on it like that. 12. Although she should have
That's part of
advantage
preparation.
because. Oh yeah. Well, that works too. So she'll.
It
almost
automatically
definitely-
crits if they hit as well.
5. Okay, yeah, she definitely hits. So that's going to be 2d8. So in this case, it's going to be 4d8. I know it rolled the first two, but I'm just going to roll the whole thing again. Okay, she deals 16 points of damage to him. So he now has a piercing blade of light in his chest. He can't scream, so it just gurgles in his mouth with the pain. He is still standing, quote unquote, alive, but he now looks very injured as this thing is just sunk into his chest.
He gets a save for taking damage from hold person, I think.
That sounds correct to me.
Pretty sure.
Uh,
Oh
No, it
no,
doesn't.
no, it's just at the end of each of its turns. Why did I use suggestion before?
I don't know. It's a good
that
question.
wizard?
All right, that's going
Full
to be
person's amazing.
her
Yeah.
turn. The cultist next to Medea is actually going to take a step to the side to attack her. Swing out Scimitar, hitting her, so she does take 4 points of damage, basically losing the temp HP. Back to normal.
Just checking. That doesn't provoke an opportunity attack because they're still within the
They're still within
reach, right?
5 feet, yeah. As long as they don't leave your melee range, then it doesn't provoke an attack of opportunity.
Right.
You can
that
move,
wasn't correct. I was just trying to make sure I
around
understood the
people.
rules on it.
Yeah, you can move around
Okay.
people however you want, basically, as long as you're not moving out of somebody else's range. But once you move that, it's like that back step, that's where it triggers it.
Cool.
You disengage, though, you just ignore all of everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and we'll take the extra 5.
Disengage
Thank
is
you.
great.
Thank you, Jack. I forgot about that.
Right.
The
Yeah, I was like, oh, I
wizard,
actually am.
Fuck. Let's
is
go.
going to go. They're going to use their bonus action to cast Misty Step.
Ooh. Fucking coward.
To appear to their other guy. So he can't cast another spell, but he'll cast Ray of Frost cantrip at. I'm gonna say at Alveron.
Misty Step is a bonus action?
Yes, Misty Step is a bonus action. And it is a leveled spell, so he couldn't cast another one, but this is a cantrip, so that's fine. Because normally you can't cast 2 level spells in the same round. No matter what, even if you're hasted or whatever else.
Okay.
That misses you, I believe. You kind of just step out of the
Yes.
way as a icicle, a ray of frost crashes against the ground, freezing the floorboards that you were previously standing on top of.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to turn to the other guy and say, I don't know, things are looking bad. The guy just looks at him and goes, "Urgh," unable to say anything.
The guy continues to be
continues to be paralyzed. Sulveran, it is now your turn.
All right. So within this sphere of dim light, Sulveran is going to just look at each of these people, kind of gauging them, and he is going to sigh quietly and say, I tire of this. And he is going to go ahead and cast Sleep, since you've lined them all so nicely up for me. Right here.
Okay, cool.
Very, very good number.
Ooh.
All right.
Yeah.
So it starts with the lowest current hit point. So the robed guy falls asleep right off the bat. He has 2 HP.
Right.
So he's
Damn it, it's not worth it to go after him.
I Okay, that doesn't go into the square with the bartender. Otherwise, he would fall asleep as well. This random dwarf falls asleep.
Oh,
Okay.
seriously?
They're
That's
commoners.
funny.
They've got less HP than the random
No,
dukes
it's
that you're
within you
fighting.
choose, so they can choose not to affect the bartender of the dwarves.
Yeah, I thought it was like you choose. So I just
Yeah,
assumed that it was.
No. It's
No, it's you.
You choose
You
the
choose
point.
the point, not you choose the
it's the
character.
creatures with the lowest hit points till we reach
Uh,
till you run out of hit points. Yeah. So it will just
Alright.
it will hit everybody. Although I think in this situation that's still better for you guys. You just happen to make this one guy fall asleep.
He was pretty close anyway. Probably he'd been drinking since we got here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's totally worth it, and Sulveran would not care. Sulveran would just watch him fall asleep.
That's all. I need to pull out a calculator here. We've gone through 6 HP so far. Media's got 22. I believe. Yeah, okay. The 2 cultists fall asleep. That's plus.
So let's see if, because I didn't know I was making a gamble, I thought there was the people you chose within that point. But
Yeah.
let's see if I knock out any of them.
Otherwise, sleep would be
I think it's good.
probably one of the best spells. Because you could just be
Yeah.
like, I make that guy go sleep. 24. We've got. It's just the first roll, right? The second one. Oh yeah, that's the higher level. Okay. Yes, those are all the people who go to sleep. Everyone else has too much HP left.
Who goes to sleep?
You got
wait,
the robed.
so the robed figure?
The robed guy falls asleep. He's still a whole person. Will might drop it. I don't know. So he's like.
No, I like the
Frozen
idea that
still.
he's standing there, paralyzed and asleep.
Okay. He falls asleep. One of the guys at the bar, one of the random dwarves, falls asleep, and both of the other just guys, they both kind of slump over, falls asleep.
All right. And so, can I flavor this?
Sure.
Yeah. Sulveran just starts humming a lullaby. I mean, this massive, tattoo, skull-faced Gathite is just going to stand there, and he really does sound like he is singing to children to sleep.
Okay. Like a very lovely hum, like soft tone, as various people begin to just like.
And it's very much Gathite. Like it's very much that is children's lullaby.
Like a very low, like almost throat singing kind of sound, like very quiet. Okay. The fighter guy looks around and says, "Oh, pretty music. I'll stop that and go to battle axe you twice."
Woof.
Oh, dealing
Really?
Oh,
Wait.
You finally did.
Yes.
Well, the first one, I will say, by the look of your face, you'd never recognize something pretty, and cutting words in.
Okay, go ahead and roll on the damage, I'm assuming.
No, the first one's bonus.
Like
just
attack
full
roll?
attack.
Okay, cool. 5,
-5.
20. Yeah, that misses. So the first one misses, actually. Just that managed to distract them long enough. Sulveran, you managed to get your shield up thanks to that minor distraction. That distraction, I'll just say. However, the second one they bring around and they go to kneecap you. It doesn't quite get a good hit, but it's still enough to kind of bring your knee in. You take 8 points of damage.
Is it possible to impose disadvantage on that? With the thing that you had suggested earlier?
You generally, if I'm giving you an option to impose disadvantage, I would want you to say it beforehand. I'll let you do it this time just because I didn't explicitly say that. I will roll again for him.
That's fair. I just didn't know. It's not a thing my GM.
No, that's okay.
The
Yeah.
Good die, bad die.
This is just like a random extra. That was just like a random extra thing about this particular battle. So he misses both times.
Oh, you missed it.
Between that distraction and Probably one of the kobolds like hits him in the face with a cup. He goes, "Ugh, ugh." And it is.
The
Go ahead.
can I add to my cutting words? In Gathite, I will say good song, brother, to Sulveran.
Okay. You hear the familiar sound of your own language, which you haven't heard since leaving home before yet.
Sulveran just stops and turns. He doesn't say anything, but he is just locked eyes, completely ignoring this dwarf next to him.
The other guy,
Goes back to scanning everything.
who doesn't have advantage now because the other guy is asleep, is going to look around, feeling is too dumb to think to run, so he's just going to keep macing Medea, laughing all the while.
Hitting
twice. So he goes, ha, ha, again, like having hit you once now, he seems to be on a roll, slamming the mace into your shoulder plate and then rocking you in the head as you take 2 blows for a total of 12 points of damage.
Yeah. I am now finally.
Right, Medea's got like a number of wounds, blood, bruises, blood trickling down, etc. He continues to laugh, unaware of the rest of them. Alveron, it's now your turn.
Yep. 1 second. Sorry, just writing notes.
No worries.
All right. My plan at the moment, our robed friend over here is having a supported nap, which scarecrow motherfucker I'm all in favor of. But this person has bloodied me and caused me trouble. I am looking to end that. So I am going, and they are still under the influence of my hex.
Yes, they are.
So I checked it. I am within, should be able to hit that no problem.
Mhm.
I am going to run up and get to, sorry, there's a wall there. So I have to go down here.
Because of the
And then
column.
go to here. Yep. So then, Andrew, what way are they facing as I come? Because I guess apparently I was on the other portion of the column. So would they have seen me come around the column, or would I have needed to take the hide action as I come around the column?
You have advantage anyway, or you have sneak attack anyways. If you want to be stealthing, you would have to make a stealth check because they're in combat. They're kind of looking around. I assume people are just kind of like glancing about.
You have to make a hide.
Yeah, you have
hide
to
or
take
stealth,
the
you have
hide
to make
action
hide
as a bonus action.
specifically.
if you
Okay,
wanna be
yeah, I could
stealthy.
use cunning action to do that, but I think I'll
You get-
retain my bonus
yeah.
action just in case I want to keep it.
You still get sneak
For
attack,
now.
I think, because of Swashbuckler?
Yes,
Or
I do still have it because of Swashbuckler.
Panache or whatever that thing is called.
Yeah, fancy. No, not fancy footwork. No, actually, rakish.
Yeah, audacity. Yes.
Rakish.
Sorry, it's the swashbuckler one. But so I will attack.
That
That
hits.
hit?
Yes.
All right, and then sneak attack and hex go off as well. Or yes, so sneak hex does still go off, but it's not gonna cast.
That's fine.
I roll it here.
I think it's just another d6, right? You could always just
Yes, it is.
double
So
click
it's
sneak
just-
attack. Well, no, actually, because your sneak attack's 2d6. Never mind.
Yeah. Did that roll 2 actually? Yeah, it did. Okay. So 7 and 7, 14, 15, 21 damage.
How do you kill the wizard? I think you've
So
dealt like
while
well
she-
over 40 damage to this guy, I think, in the 2 turns. Something
So
like that.
while they are facing out in this direction, kind of overseeing the rest of the battlefield and reaching to the right, tugging on their master's arm and just wake up, trying to bat away at the spectral ropes that have been conjured up. As I come up behind them, my rapier just slips up through kidney and lung, up through them. And as they just kind of fall backwards gently onto my sword, I kind of catch them as they fall down. I don't know if anyone is facing me at the moment, but I do not look triumphant. Right now, it's just kind of sorrowful as I catch them, bring them down, and then my eyes flit over to the bartender. And let's see, did I move? I only moved 20 before to get here. So I will move, if you're good with it, I'll move another 2 down.
Yep, to 10. Yep,
and just kind of be at the bartender. I guess now technically I am behind him, but I'm personally opposed to landing a killing blow on someone who's unable to defend themselves against me.
Sure.
So I'm more focused on the bartender right now.
The bartender at this point,
I don't.
From the temp HP and everything, is doing okay. So he's standing up, shaking his head after having just been punched. Was watching the battle a little bit. He looks to you, having just killed this person, and say, "Boy, that's a good one."
Okay, and then as my last thing, I can switch Hex now that I've killed that person because it's concentration. Hex, I will now switch over to the robed figure. I will, at the very least, I suppose, try to incapacitate them because I know they're the ringleader for all this. I will not be trying to kill them, but incapacitation is my next go-to.
Yeah, if we could interrogate them, that would be great.
Yeah, I don't necessarily trust. I've read The Wheel of Time. I don't trust important magic lady with a book.
Okay.
See, I implicitly trust any lady that is confident.
Medea, it is your turn.
Some watery
Medea's
talk
going
lobbed
to
a book at me in the middle of a bog. They threw me away. I apologize.
They're going to look at the person. They're going to look at the person in front of them and just take a deep sigh and say, I grow weary of this. And I'm going to, what do you call it? Vow of Enmity, so I have advantage. It would let me click and activate it. To make this quicker, I will just roll with advantage.
That's fine. Yeah, don't worry about it. That hits.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to smite on top of it.
Right. You also get a
Nice.
Hunter's Mark because you Hunter's Mark them. We probably should have had you.
No, I'd already added the Hunter's Mark.
I'm not going to run Hunter's Mark with concentration. It's too much. I feel like it shouldn't be a thing anyway.
Okay, so 20 points total.
Okay.
As they just bring the. Does that kill or no?
No, it doesn't kill her.
Okay, yeah. Then they just bring in the spear directly into this dwarf's leg, trying to gut the artery.
Right. Urgh. Shouldn't have done that. This guy's asleep, so we'll skip his turn. Uba. You're still facing down with this other dwarf who is like kind of ready for battle at this point.
Yeah, so Uba is not tired of fighting. They're having an excellent time, even though they're not bloody, but they're pretty hurt. So I think I'm gonna roll to hit with my dagger, and then if it's not high enough, I'll use the bardic inspiration. Okay, yeah, I would like to use that. So that's rolling a d6, right?
Yeah, D6.
Okay.
Wait, what's your modifiers to hit?
What's my modifiers for what?
You should be.
+6.
It's +6, but Marissa's new, so it's not an issue. But the best way again to do it is to do it from the inventory. That way, it rolls with the modifiers.
Oh, right.
But no worries. It does hit, even just without even the extra d6.
Oh, okay, cool. So I think Uba is just having a great time and wants to do something even more chaotic. So they're gonna use Searing Smite on their dagger.
Okay.
Okay.
Just so you know, you're supposed to do that before you make the attack. But
okay.
I'll allow it this time.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. So they're gonna use Searing Smite. And so that would be a D4
Plus
plus a
2d6. One for Hunter's Mark,
2d6.
one for the Smite.
Okay, so D4, 2d6, and then whatever they get is going to have an additional
Plus 8.
plus 8. Okay, let's see what they get.
So 19. All right. Yeah, how do you kill this guy?
Okay, so Uba's dagger kind of looks like, instead of being like a bright light, I imagine, because they're like a very stealthy and they're a hunter, that it kind of looks like that shimmer of like a hot road like under the sun or something like that. So they have their like shimmery dagger, and it's so hot at this point that they just pierce straight through the armor of the dwarf and hit their heart.
Ooh.
As he like Balax clatters to the floor, you pull out the dagger.
And Uba's just kind of like, yay!
Slumps down, falling forward.
Yeah, unlike Alveron, Uba does not have any sadness about killing the dwarf at all. They're pretty pumped about it.
Oh no, I'm just so you know, I am happy you killed that motherfucker. I'm just also glad I wasn't the one to do it.
Right. The rogue figure is asleep. So it is then Will's turn.
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
the wizard at the bottom is dead, right?
Yes, they're unconscious. Sorry.
Okay.
All right, Will.
Not that much left to do.
Did we lose Sara? Oh, just kidding. They're there.
Yeah.
I need to.
I will, I guess, kind of do the same thing of stepping up onto the table to get like the best view to surveil the entire battlefield, which is now just like a bunch of sleeping people and one guy in a strange manner continuing to flail at Medea. But as I step up, Will starts to do like the really guttural Gathite singing, but over the top, her normal voice like hums the melodic healing word, and will cast healing word on Uba.
Oh, thanks.
Nice. Just like I want always 50% of my spells to have been healing word on you. That's my
your goal. Like a minor.
You get 5 points. Yeah, it's like a secret objective that Will has to just always have 50% of spells. With my full action, I'll say to the thug, or whatever he is, the one person still flailing, say, even children sometimes learn to just stop hitting their toys against things. Vicious mockery.
Oof.
Which I didn't reskin.
Oh yeah, that's a cantrip. Okay.
Nice.
I was thinking that was a level 1 spell. 4 points of damage.
Look at it. Max damage.
That does bring him down.
He gets a save. It's a wisdom save.
Well, the thing says 10 wisdom, but I'm gonna make his wisdom a 7 because I feel like that's how I've been role playing him. But he still manages to pass.
He still passes.
He does not go down.
Oh well.
I just last.
I'll note my total damage is 11 for this fight.
The at the top of the round, the bartender is going to look up at the rogue figure, like staying there unconsciously, and just pull out his leg, so that he like clatters to the bar, and start to like grab him and hold him down. It's like pushing him towards his face into the bar. This guy is now like on the that probably wakes him up, but he's now like being held and they can't move really. Kala is just going to step up, say, my, what a brute, and I can still just use their they'll draw their rapier and just go to fuck him over. Yeah, she takes him out. She just no nonsense, just like right into the shoulder blade.
Fully support.
As he goes, ah, bitch. Ugh. Oh my god. Those guys are sleeping, so yeah, we're out of combat at this point. You have defeated any threatening people in the bar. Switch back to
Okay.
Well, to your like 11 damage, Jack, I think I did like 7.
That's fine. We're not meant to be doing damage.
If we're out of combat, we need to be binding these mofos before the sleep spell ends.
Yeah.
I figure most of us have rope or something similar.
Yeah.
For the rogue figure, I'm next to the bartender. I guess can he and I work together to try and bind and like make sure that this guy is jacked up in the way that we have him bound up.
He pulls out like a bar cloth and like shoves it in the guy's mouth so he can't speak. No, he's a spellcaster, and will probably like start to take some rope off of something in the bar. He's probably got some rope or twine and help you bind this guy up so he can't, cast spells. Basically, that's the the bartender's not stupid. He knows how to restrain a spellcaster.
I was gonna say I'm getting a former adventurer vibe off of this guy. Next thing I'll be doing is I will be going over to Media and to Sulveran, just because we've been talking before, and just appreciate all the help. Thank you so much. My God, are you okay? Are you all right? Just kind of a check on y'all and make sure everything's okay. And again, thanking the both of you for the support and the help in the combat.
You owe me a beer.
I will float you home in ale after what we just went through, my friend.
I would like to look to the lady and just, mysterious robe figure, the one we don't know the name of, very explicitly, and just say, first of all, what is your name? Second, why are they trying to kill you? Third, how much money are we talking for having just killed a significant number of people for you?
He's like kicking the guy just to double check as you're saying this, and immediately like goes down to rifle through his pocket. So she's like kind of kneeled over, flips her hair, looking up at you, and says, "Well, my name's Kala. We could talk about the price. I have gold, some, enough. Yeah."
I'm not sure you're quite aware of what enough is.
I immediately brained a man and put myself between you and the targets.
She nods. No, I very much appreciate your help. I'll rewards aplenty. Don't you worry about that. Let me just.
Why were they after the book? Who are these people?
Many questions. Why don't we deal with the bodies first?
Uba happily starts rummaging in the pockets of the dead dwarf in front of them and is looking for anything shiny.
Okay.
I'd like to look to the bartender.
Hang on. Before anything else starts happening, Will is just going to get one of the random dwarves to go find some guards, because
we want to
this was
involve
a crime
guards?
that happened in that city. Well,
Will
is fairly law-abiding.
Okay. I will, if that's the case, I've brokered things before. I'll go over to the bartender, and I've already got 2 gold out. I'm just like, I don't suppose buying a round of drinks would... Friend, I admit, I don't know the laws in this municipality, but I feel like myself and my friends here didn't do much wrong besides defend someone against a couple of real violent assholes. As a business owner, your word is going to mean a lot more to the guards than anything we have to say. You couldn't be persuaded to put in good words for us to make sure that none of my people here wind up in a jail cell. And I slide another 2 gold in addition to the other 2. I'm more than willing to stand an extra round for the night.
He'll like do like a swishing in his mouth, like spit out like a hawk of blood into another washcloth that he produces from underneath the bar. This. Don't worry about it. You certainly saved my life. I'll talk to the guards once they get here.
I appreciate that, friend. Then consider this just something for the extra damage. I have a feeling that, and I look over at the woman, and then back at him, I have a feeling we'll make out all right, but you've treated us well.
He will also turn
Thank
to
You're going
the.
to look out.
He'll turn to the not unconscious dwarf at the bar, and he'll say, "Bulgar, go get the guards like the woman asked." The guy goes, "Yeah." Like immediately, like knocks his stool over, running out the door.
Ooh.
Right,
This
Um,
whole time,
can I look
Sulveran
at-
has walked. Oh,
sorry, Sarah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, can I look to the bartender and say, do you perhaps have a wine cellar of some kind?
He nods. Boy, there's a basement in this place. I keep various things down there. Wine, certainly.
Well, when the guards come, let's not tell them the robed figure is down there, shall we?
He nods. Going to be asking some questions, I see. Oh, I got your back. I think-
Patrons around here, if you
Thinking.
keep quiet.
I think Uba said you were searching through pockets, or was that somebody else?
Yeah, that was me. Uba's going through the dwarf's pockets in front of them and is looking for money or anything shiny.
You find. Oh, wow! I rolled really good on that roll. You find 16 pieces of well, I'll say you find 12 pieces of gold, 30 pieces of silver, and about 36 pieces of copper. I can write that down.
Ooh.
If you don't remember, let me know if you need me to say that again.
Okay, I just put it in the
Okay.
on my sheet.
The woman is going through the thug's pockets. She starts to pull out various things, or Kala, I guess, pulling out various things from his pockets. Okay. Is anybody else going to do anything before the guards go? The bartender will start helping. I think Medea was the one who asked about it. Drag the robed man now, like, trying to yell down to the bar below. So I'll just.
Can I also check the robed figure's pockets and just make sure that he's not like hiding a weapon or anything?
Okay, he does have a he had this like scepter with him that he was kind of using to cast spells. But other than that, he doesn't have any weapons on him.
Okay, Uba's gonna take the scepter, but since the robed figure was the robed figure like human sized?
He was a human, yes.
Okay, so Uba's gonna like take the scepter, and the scepter's probably as big as Uba is, so Uba's gonna hand it to Will.
It's
Because
not
Uba
that
can't really hold it.
It's not that big actually. It's only like
Oh, it's not.
it's not like a full like staff. It's only like it's like a foot or two long with like a solid fist at the top. Probably made out of iron.
I think Uba's still gonna give it to Will.
Okay. Will, you're gonna pass this on.
Will watched Uber loot some bodies, not being interested in that, and has kind of probably started to a non-question-filled conversation with Carla. But like just introducing herself and the like, and then has handed this scepter, just holding a scepter, not really knowing what to do with it
Make
for the remainder of this.
now that we're out of combat, Will, why don't you? Anybody who wants to really can make me a religion check.
All right.
Probably the people who have it proficient, if anybody, and Will because Bard.
Yeah.
So
I'm
as
going
soon
to
as
use my inspiration for advantage.
yeah, that'd be a good one.
19. All right.
Wait, you can just give yourself advantage?
I gave
I had
them
inspiration.
from
Yeah.
the session 0. I'm gonna try
Well, I mean,
to.
the session
I'm really
0.
bad about remembering that that's a thing in 5e. I want to try to do it this game. But
I will try and remind you for
Yeah.
at things, but
okay, sure. So Sulveran, it just looks decorative to you. You don't notice anything about it. Will, you've heard stories about things, and you kind of are thinking you think about it. You've heard of this symbol before. It is the sort of iron raised fist is known to be a symbol of the god Moraine, the god of murder, who's one of the dark gods.
Ah. Imagine being a god, but you learn when you're born that your symbol is just, yeah, you're the god of murder. That shit would suck.
you're the god of aggressive uppercut.
Andrew.
You're the
Yeah,
god
Will.
Yeah, god.
I hope I'm not cutting anybody off. Just my only thing before we get this person underground, the mage who was causing trouble, I'm going to go over and, just kind of clean off my blade on their jerkin and just clean it there. And then I don't think I need to. It'll probably be it's a force of habit with my background, but just either sleight of hand or narratively rifle through their pockets as I pantomime cleaning the blade off before I sheath it. Just going through and seeing whatever else is on their person. Usually mages, ship to ship, are quite important.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who I'm used to dealing with. So I'm just picking through them real quick.
They have on them a coin purse with 6 gold, 20 silver, and 10 copper. 6 gold, 20 silver, 10 copper. They also have a small book. It's do you know that they were a wizard? They kind of had it open. It's more like a pocket book than like a full wizard's book, but it has spells in it. You can't read any of the words, but you know that this must be their spell book.
Okay.
Other than that,
they
have like
literally
a staff and their
Murphy's
clothes.
is playing in the background, and I can't focus on anything else.
Sorry. Just the instrumental.
You can right click it and
I know,
lower
but it's
volume.
going up to Boston. I'm sorry, it's ancestral.
Yeah.
It's actually
was it?
the original version, the Rocky Road to Dublin.
Oh, it's Rocky Road to Dublin.
Yes.
Sorry, I just hear Dropkick Murphys when I hear Rocky Road to Dublin.
That's okay.
But Andrew, I'm so sorry. What was that last one? I caught that it was more of a notebook than a spell, but it is still an effective spell book.
It's a spell book. You can't read any of it, but and then other than that, they just have their clothes on them. They weren't carrying very much.
Okay. I will pocket the coin purse. I won't kind of take the money itself just yet, but I will take that in the spell book. Could I tell what kind of spellcaster they were based on my past experience, or is that an Arcana roll to see what kind of magic user they were?
I feel like you are well traveled enough. You're not particularly dumb, and from the book, you would know that this is a wizard. They weren't just casting. They're not a sorcerer. They weren't just casting spells, but that I think is obvious to most people.
Okay. Cool. I will keep the spellbook just in case it proves useful. I don't know this new group that I'm allying myself with, if it'll be useful to them, but I figure at the very least, it's a good bartering chip regardless. So that'll end it for me. That's all the surreptitious nonsense that I'm getting up to before anything else. Are we moving the rogue? We're moving the rogue figure downstairs. Is there anything else we're doing before the guards arrive?
Can I grab the mace or whatever the guy who was hitting me had?
Sure. It's just a mace.
Like, just quickly grabbing it before I haul the robed figure down.
Yeah, it's a mace. You have a mace.
I'd also like to take a second to just... They reach out and they walk over to like behind a table for a second, and then they walk back as if they haven't taken any damage, fully healing themselves through a combination of features.
You lay on hands, etc.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as all of this was going down, Sulveran, is this one tied up? Or was this one immediately, did somebody immediately go to tie this one up?
Which one is this one? Oh, that one? I don't think anybody immediately went to tie them up. They're still sleeping. I think everybody was focused on the robed.
All right. But did these generally got tied up?
Yeah, somebody had tied them up. One
Yeah.
of you guys did, or one of the patrons did.
All right. So I will say that as combat ended, Sulveran just pulled the war pick back off of his back where he'd stowed it, and he started walking over to one of these figures with the end down, the part that you would use to hold yourself like up in the ice. And he reached to like just go straight for the eye socket, and then he stopped, looking at everybody turning with these ropes, and he's going to have called to Medea. We leave them alive?
Ren was just about to murk this guy.
Yes,
But loudly yells, "No!" from
we
across the
leave
room.
them. We leave them alive. The guards will like us more. Shows that we didn't kill who we didn't need to.
He puts the war pick back after Medea, and then he looks back at Oba and he says, I agree, but I tend to listen to her.
We've seen enough blood and guts today.
Yes. So Will Kala is having finished with the thug, is chatting with you at this point. She'll just introduce herself. So, well, it's nice to meet you. I'm Kala. Thanks for your help, even if I had to buy it for the fact as it might be.
The likelihood is I probably would have helped you anyway, but I have a kobold to pay. You see.
Ah, that one.
Pointed over.
Of course.
I'm Will, and she like extends a hand, realizes there's a scepter in the hand, pulls a hand back, and like shoves the scepter into her coat.
Okay, she will put her rapier away and then like go to shake your hand. A pleasure.
Well, it's not the least fun way I've ever met somebody, but it's up there. And she kind of pauses from the conversation to like look at the dead body she's standing next to and say a prayer to in like Sil mode for funeral rites. Despite the fact that she really follows another god more, so she like says a really quick prayer to Sil. Not quite as extravagant as the last time she had to do this, but
Sure.
then she kind of realizes that if she says it to this one, she might have to say it to all of them. So she just says it slightly louder and hopes that is enough.
You try to cover the room. You're like,
yeah, it's like it's a general funeral rite to the room of people, and also those sleeping. Like,
yeah,
it's a moon goddess. It's fine. It covers the sleeping as well.
The various like other patrons like nod, and they'll say various different things as well. They've kind of all, much like bystanders in any fight. Some of them were helping, but they're kind of milling about now. They're chatting with each other about what just happened. Still the excitement of everything is still on them. But they're just kind of watching, interested to see if anything else is going to happen next. They're not leaving yet, but they're just like murmuring.
Crowd.
Is Kala holding the book?
Kala is holding the book still. She's probably retucked it into her jacket pocket. But you saw her; she was still holding it, like put it away, and very surreptitiously trying to like hope that people kind of are forgetting about it a little bit.
Can I use my general Sherlock Holmesian view of the world to make a roll to learn something about the book?
You can make an Arcana check at disadvantage because you've seen it. You haven't held it or anything.
That's fine.
Okay, 22, even with disadvantage. 2 14s. Okay,
Is my expertise and all.
true. So you saw like a couple words and various things as they were putting it away. Let me just look at your languages. No, you do not.
Oh, they are not going to be
You do not
useful.
understand the words. However, you did see some diagrams and things like that. It does appear to be written in the demonic script. You at least recognize that, and it does have pictures. It's probably not a spell book, but it has spells in it at the very least.
A stolen book, Kala? Will ask.
To look around, people are kind of distracted. She'll also say, "Not exactly. No. Protected." We'll say.
Oh, I'd say that you accomplished that well today.
Well, I'll say that the 5 of you did a little bit better than I did. I did lead them here,
Will
after
shrugs.
all. Not on purpose, but
Well, you made a good choice of bar to lead them to.
I'll say.
I think Will says, well, are you going to join us in what seems to be some kind of interrogation of the figure following you?
Oh yes, and I can explain more once we're a little bit away from other ears.
I would have to have to insist. Will
course.
gives the most friendly smile.
Okay. At this point,
And then I'll cast Healing Word on her.
okay. At this point, I'm just going to jump back to the characters page or the home page because we don't really need this map. At the moment, that way people can see the character art. Oh, hey, look, it does display like the max HP increases and stuff on the bars. That's kind of interesting. So
We headed downstairs now to the cellar.
So I think probably some of you wait for the guards because that they're going to want to talk to you, and if you just all go down to the cellar, that's probably not going to look as good. So you take him down to the cellar, and probably 2 of you, whichever 2 you want to be, kind of stand over them. Kala will also stay down there. They are going to try to avoid talking to the guards. I'm gonna go through this quickly. The guards eventually come. They will round up anyone that you did not specifically move away, which I think is only the one robed figure. Even the dead bodies, they'll like start to drag out. They'll interrogate you all, but between the word of the bartenders and all the patrons who corroborate your story, they came in. There was another person. They were looking for something, and attacked you. They attacked the bartender, basically unprovoked. And the guards are like, okay, we understand. We're gonna write this up. We would ask that you stay here at least until tomorrow night, and we'll come back. But it sounds like this is a kind of open shut book. And you notice that the tall hand, the bartender, is wrong. He's the owner of the establishment. He seems to know these guards by name. So he's like, oh, don't worry about it, Pearl. It's not an issue. These folks, they were just helping. That's not his voice. These folks, they were just helping me out, and it's all okay. I think these folks were thugs just looking for a good time. I mean, gesture at one of them. They look like bad folk to me. Cultists probably. I saw the one casting all sorts of spells, and he had a mace of a bad sign. If you catch my meaning. No, not. And say, of course, sir. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of everything. Lagan appreciates your patronage as always, and he told us to let you know that he'll be stopping by soon to have a chat. He says, "Oh, that'll be just lovely, lovely. Thank you, boys, for coming in. Really, really grateful. Really grateful. Shuts the door behind them, and then everybody will at this point kind of come down to where the robed figure is. He's been kind of having a stare down with Kala, kind of ignoring everybody else as much as possible. And she's just like arm crossed, leaning back, like looking him up and down as the rest of you kind of start to fill her into this. It's a cellar. It's got wine in it, some barrels with like apples and various other things. Like it's just a storage room. With all of you in it, it's a little crowded, but not like you're not shoulder to shoulder or anything. It's just it's like a maybe the size of a large bedroom. It's not like a huge room or anything like that. There's now 7 people in here, with the one guy like bound and gagged in the middle.
How much time has passed since the combat started?
I'm gonna say like it takes the guards a couple minutes to get there. Dragging away the bodies didn't take very long, so like a half hour. You could have been talking to this guy if you wanted to.
I was more curious if the 10 bardic inspiration was still around, and did it stop?
No, it would have faded.
Okay.
Nobody used it except for.
Nobody used it.
Can I
Yes.
Can I pull Kawa aside?
Yes and no. I mean, the room is, again, it's a small room.
Not like aside, like everybody can still hear them, but more to a point where I can talk to them, like obviously have their attention.
Sure, that you kind of, get their attention.
They're just gonna make it brief, and they're gonna say, I don't care about the rest so much as I need assurance of what that book is, and that you know what you're doing with it.
He rolls her eyes. I could tell that you're going to be a stickler about it. I work for somebody who is much more well reputable than any of you people. You don't have to worry about it.
That's fine. I would still like to know about it.
And I would rather you didn't. I'll tell you it's very important, very dangerous.
You understand all of us are noticeably going to be concerned letting you leave with this book after we just noticed a load of armed men tried to come in and kill you. Nearly succeeded, and you survived based on luck.
The story, everybody, but I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is. I only know a little bit myself.
Do you have any foul intentions with the book?
She just rolls her eyes. You could tell she's got a little bit of maybe like a chip on her shoulder or something like that. She says, No, I'm trying to protect the book. That's why I kept it from them.
While she's telling Medea this, Sulveran is just looming over Medea's shoulders, so closely he's almost stabbed by the horn every time.
You are actually almost doubled over in this cellar because it is a dwarven cellar. So like a normal cellar, it's only about head height. So it's only 5 or 6 feet at most high. So you're like head craned.
Yeah.
Looking down.
Will your employer be paying us for the service of also catching the robed figure?
Of course. I promised you money, and I have enough to go around. If you want to discuss payment now, that's fine.
Go
ahead.
Can Sulveran be getting an idea of how trustworthy Kala is while she's responding? He's just really watching what she's saying to Medea.
Anybody who wants to can make an insight check as this conversation is going on from your past experience with this person. Just the 2 people? Nobody else wants to roll?
Think I would do much.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Sulveran and Will, you kind of both get the same read as you rolled very similarly. They seem to you to be Alveron. You trust this woman with your life. You're like, this person like clearly we should help them. They were being attacked, like, and they're guarding a book. Like, they've told us what they're doing. Duh.
Need you
Clear
to know, I
librarian.
will say that to the hilt now that you've said it. So just
Sure.
fair warning.
That's fine.
Now that you've said it, I will play it to the hilt.
Okay. Good. I like that. For the other two, you feel like they're being honest. They're not like the book is dangerous. Like they're being upfront about that. They're protecting it. But they also don't really like you help them, but they don't trust you so far to like tell you everything. They also, you get a sense that as you're looking at them now, they have very nice clothes, but they're scuffed and dirty, like they've been on the road for a long time. Some of their wounds are older than today. They've got like a very noticeable old cut on their cheek, and maybe their hands are quite scuffed. Which would be unusual given everything else about them, their apparent station. So they look like they're a bit road weary. So all of these questions, like over and over again, are, wearing on them slightly. They're kind of hit, like, they're not at the breaking point, but they're fraying slightly. So being bombarded with all these, like, very pointed questions is making them a little bit defensive, if that makes sense. But they'll say,
Well, look, why don't we hear the story and maybe relax a bit while we're listening? Somebody occasionally poke him with a stick or something so he doesn't get too relaxed. And we can go from there. Because I think if we poke him with a stick every so often, not you, Uber, somebody that's not going to kill him with the stick.
How about first? Do you want
I'll
us
say, having interrogated mages before, if we need to a quick jab to the spine, make sure he can't move anything below his shoulder blades, and can still answer any of our questions.
I would trust you with surgery. Never.
I would like to reassess whether or not I want Uber to be doing it.
Okay, first, do we want to move the robed figure, or do you have a more secure compound?
Can we get them
legitimately
to the
laughs.
Yeah.
Will laughs at the concept that this woman has a compound that she didn't run to.
Kayla shakes her head. There is a safe place we could, a place I thought was safe we could go now. There might still be people watching it, though. The bartender's like, I could take him up to a room, I guess. I mean...
Do you have a cart to move merchandise?
Oh, I have a cart, yeah.
We could just throw him in a cart surrounded by some shit. Do you have an employer? Again, do they not have somewhere?
Are you saying this to Tallhand or to
Kala? Yeah, I'm looking at Kala. Like, you have an employer. Do they not have somewhere?
Again, that's where I was going. That's kind of why I ran into them. It'll make sense once I tell the story, but she kind of looks at the guy. I would prefer that he were not awake, perhaps. Maybe we could, she looks at Sulveran and like, you could do that thing again?
Could I turn around and just fucking deck them non-lethally?
I think before... I'm happy to roll, but before that, I think Will just pulls out the scepter and smacks him in the jaw non-lethally and puts him to sleep that way.
Sure.
Will is very tired of not hearing this story.
If you do that, he won't wake up for a while because he'll be unconscious. But that's fine. You can totally do that. Fine. You just like knock him out.
What's a minor TBI between friends?
Well, Will's like, this scepter's got a good weight to it for that.
Good
Maybe
job.
That's what it's used for. Even though she knows.
You a high five.
Good job, strange woman.
Will high five with the fist scepter.
That was sick. You really brained that motherfucker.
He just says,
"Wow."
That's one way to put a man to sleep, I suppose. Okay.
I just want to hear the story.
Yeah, tell us the story.
I train under a very important, powerful wizard. You don't need to know his name. You can call him Quill for now. That's what he goes by sometimes. We were in Roms, and he had been studying, and she'll pull out the book now, this book for some time. He is something of a scholar, but also tries to, I guess he works with a few others to make sure that larger evils don't threaten the world, various kingdoms. As I said, he's a very important, very powerful wizard, and I guess I'm his apprentice, you could say. We were
Okay.
there one day as he was studying the book when a man came and somehow broke through the protective enchantments on Quill's tower. They came in and they were flanked by two large demons. And this was in the center of the city. My master told me to run and gave me the book, and they started doing battle. And you have to understand, this wasn't like the bar fight upstairs. Very powerful magics were being thrown around. I was able to get out, and I've been kind of running ever since. I came to Kharad because I know my master has a second home here. He does in most of the major cities in Imris. And I thought to go there, I thought that might be a safe place, at least for a little bit, to sort of wait and try to figure out why they might be after this book. I've been trying to read it over time. It's a little bit beyond me. When I went to go enter into the house, those men you saw or you fought were there watching, and I was able to slip away, and she'll kind of like, pull out her book and start chanting. I can change my form at will. You might be familiar with such magics, and she'll disguise herself back into the gnomish woman, and then drop it again. I thought I had gotten away and just snuck into the first bar that I saw, but they followed me somehow. I guess I wasn't quite quick enough or stealthy enough. And, well, now I'm here. Is that enough for you all?
Can we
For the
discuss
moment, yes.
Well,
Now,
payment?
yeah.
sorry, someone else.
Payment, yes. And she'll pull out a, clinking coin purse and say, there's 5 of you, and there's 250 gold in here. I feel like even splits. That sound fair? Like a reasonable sum for one day's combat? I kind of looks at all of you.
That's several months' pay to me. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
a
like,
lot of money
Yeah.
to all of you.
Yeah.
That's more money than I can really try and even haggle with. Although Will's
Yeah.
brain
Yeah.
is like, haggle mode.
mm,
I'll take my 50 gold now.
yeah. I guess
Jim-
my main thing is now I want us all to question the mage, the robed figure, and see what the fuck is going on. I mean, even if we just get, I am a servant of my god, and you will all suffer. Blah 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 blah. Blah. I don't give a fuck. That'll only reinforce for me like my own opinion of.
It might be
the
useful
Shufflebox.
to take them to their second home, because the wizard might have wards and stuff just in case they try and teleport away or get out of there. Yeah.
Does
It's
limiting like the only able to use like having them be bound up but still not being able to, or still being able to talk but not being able to move their arms.
Because to do most
Is-
teleportation spells, you really only need verbal, and to talk to them, we'd have to unbind their mouth.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of, I mean, some of them need material components, which you can't do if you're not holding an arcane focus either.
Yeah, we
However,
did take his scepter away.
Dimension
Can
Door would
I-
be the important one.
Yes.
Make an art. Why don't you
Uh,
guys? Because like this is a little
yeah.
bit player knowledge-y. Why don't whoever wants to
Yeah.
can make an Arcana check in the group as you guys kind of discuss how you want to keep this guy.
Can I also make a roll to know about Quill at some point?
Make a history check.
23.
23.
23 for the Arcana check.
So,
But Will's
Mhm.
Will's feeling is that if he could cast a spell such... Will's heard stories of Dimension Door, it's a bard spell. Like, if he could cast that, we would have been in much more trouble. And the lower level teleportation spells can be, like,
Mhm.
stopped. But history, you said, for Quill?
yes.
Only 14.
Yes. So from the 23, Will knows basically what Jack knows about spells and what you could Google.
Realistically, for if he could cast a spell of such magnitude as Dimension Door, we would have probably been in a little bit more trouble in the fight. Also, everything less than that's harder to cast if you can like limit materials and the verbal or somatic components. Realistically, if he's not holding his focus, it's a lot harder for him to do most things. Or so I've heard. I'm not that well schooled in Arcana.
That's a good point. As far
message you,
Misty
Jack,
Step is
about
only
the history
verbal
check.
as well, right? This is out of character, but Will would know that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, like you said,
Will-
most of the teleportation spells are verbal.
Yeah.
But Will also knows that Misty Step's a small distance, and if you tie someone's feet up, they can Misty Step and then fall over.
Mhm. The other thing would be taking them to the wizard's area means if this guy works for someone, I imagine a wizard's second home would have anti-scrying wards.
It's hard to know what's been done to the home if Kala here was on her way, but I mean, I'm happy to do whatever. It's really not. Well, and she starts thinking about it, and she's like patting the fist of the scepter into her other hand, and she says, "He's definitely some kind of servant of Mordain, the god of murder." She explains to Uba, but also anyone else that needs that explanation. But knowing that Uba probably doesn't know that.
When she says that, Sulveran looks up sharply, and hardly the god of murder alone.
Well, I mean, if you want to get into it, there's a lot of different gods that cover murder, but this one's specific purview is murder, as opposed to the war gods who also commit murder, and the sea god who also commits murder. But we don't need to get into how much murder the gods have done.
Was listening intently.
This one's very murdery. This is like murder, the ultimate version of the murder, really.
Sulveran's just tilting his head at you sharply, and he's still not emoting, but there is some great skepticism there. Can he perhaps, as an Outlander, roll maybe like insight on how much Will believes what he's saying, like how true this is?
Yeah, that's fine.
Make me see how well I rolled on my religion check.
No.
They seem to believe what they're saying. You don't have a reason to doubt their knowledge.
Also, Kala, if I was to suggest to you, do you know the name of your master who you're apprenticed to? The real name?
Yes, I do, of course.
And if I was to tell you that I also thought I knew the real name, would that surprise you?
Kind of looks at you and like thinks about it for a second, looks you up and down.
I'll create 4 lights across the sky in front of me. It's like, hi, magic. Remember this magic?
Maybe not. you seem like a particularly observant sort. And there
I
are
would
only
say
a few
that any-
people of the talent of my master. So if you are schooled in the arcane arts, it's not unreasonable that you could have guessed it. But I'm not going
we'll
to tell
tell
you
to
if
the
you
others.
did.
Of course, because if I'm wrong, it's really not that relevant. If the people could attack someone of the scope of her master, it's probable that they would see us merely as children, and we would quickly be dealt with if we ran into them. If we go to the wizard's house, there's always the possibility that whoever is paying this man, or whoever they serve, will send someone far more troublesome.
True, but by remaining here, they also know their serve came to the bar and did not come
Oh.
back.
We certainly shouldn't say here. That would be a mistake, but maybe we could do something more surreptitious.
Is the bar?
Potentially send the bar's cart to the wizard's home, and then we take a separate exit with our charge.
I could
Perhaps
cast illusory magic on the cart, make it seem like we were in there.
It is something we could do as well, is to get at another safe place. Perhaps the bartender has a friend in town that isn't a fan of evil magic. Place to stow away, or maybe we could use another tavern somewhere in town.
Kind of stroke his beard for a few moments, thinking, I have a few friends in town. For the 6 of you, I'm assuming you're not going to take the fellow, right?
We probably
okay.
have to. He's going to be asleep
That's
for a
going
while.
to limit
Yeah.
it slightly.
Any big family homes?
I'd let you stay with me, but that's probably not the best idea since he has very intimately connected with the bar. So I do have a friend who you could probably stay with. Not for overly long. A couple of weeks, perhaps?
That's more than enough time to find new arrangements.
I will go send a runner and see what I can do. He will kind of up the stairs.
I suppose my name's Will, by the way. And she kind of looks to the rest of the group and smiles. She very rarely smiles a full, joyful smile. A lot of the time she's just got, a very plain, passive smile on her face, but this one's like a big, beaming smile.
Aw. It's nice to meet you. The name is Medea. And they'll take a really deep bow.
Will turns to the others.
Yeah. Does my friend here, do you want to introduce yourself to our group? And they'll turn to Sylvain.
Yeah, Sulveran looks over at Medea, looks back at the rest of the group. Sulveran, and as he's speaking, he just stops and Sulveran will do.
You had a friend with you, Will? Would their name be?
Yeah, Will nudges Uber. This is the part where you introduce yourself.
Sorry, I was on mute. Uba is a little bit awkward with introductions, so they just kind of stick out their hand, say, name's Uba, and they still have some blood on their hand from the fight that they just didn't bother to clean off. So it would be understandable if you don't actually want to shake it, but they just kind of stick their hand out in the middle of the group of people, not at anyone in particular.
Medea happily shakes their hand with their armor-covered gauntlet hand also covered in blood.
Nice.
You're very good at murder. I appreciate that about you.
Uba says, thank you, same to you.
And I think we
Sulveran-
all over.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think we all overheard you before, but would you care to formally introduce yourself? Quick-footed friend, and they'll look to Alvaro.
Absolutely. Name's Alveron, barely new in town, but seemingly found himself in good company. Happy to make acquaintance with y'all, and looks around and then looks very balefully at the robed figure, and very happy to be making an enemy out of people who make sure a tavern's not a safe place. I don't hold much sacred, but this I definitely do.
Yes, killing a bartender is sort of the worst possible thing I can imagine someone doing in a neutral situation.
About a
It's
bartender
just
that's
bad
also
luck,
a child.
Bartender that's friendly, has good food.
Will it nods along a lot to like the sacredness of taverns. And says, "Well, I guess that solves that." Kind of looks around the group and says, "Suppose we'll just wait to see if our tavern owner friend does have somewhere we can stay."
As if
We'll
on
want to take-
cue.
Takes the money from Carla.
Do we want to take some rest here? Regain our wits?
Seems like a good
Maybe
idea.
Uba's
Maybe
still
a
a bit
short
hurt,
rest
so
would
that
be in
wouldn't be
order.
too bad.
Yeah, we can say that you guys take a short rest. Maybe some
I
of
will,
you go
I
upstairs,
will-
some of you stay down here.
I'll play a song on my hurdy-gurdy across the thing for a song of rest. Hurdy-gurdy is a fun word to say in this voice.
So Will does bring out the hurdy-gurdy?
Yeah, Will's got a satchel bag or whatever that she's brought down, and she pulls out a hurdy-gurdy that's really nicely stained, and you can even see polish and wax on the top of it, but it does have so many like salt water pock marks and stuff on the wood, and just is like very, very quietly playing this song in the background as everybody rests a little bit.
Is this a like shorter rest or a longer rest?
This is a short rest.
Oh, okay. Uba's gonna curl up on the floor like a dog and like tuck their nose under their tail.
Those are for Cal's hit points.
Yeah, if we were going to stop, this would be about the perfect time.
Yeah.
We will
Yeah, I
continue
think so.
for just a second.
Okay.
So you guys take a short rest. Nicely, you know, in the bar, probably finishing your food because some of you will like still had some food, maybe getting some new food because it's probably gotten a little cold. Before
Do we
two,
have
yes.
did we have the opportunity because you said we could stay down there to monitor the robed figure?
Yeah, I'm kind of assuming you're like some people go upstairs, grab food, they come back, other people go. Hallow will probably stay down here the whole time. And because you're short resting, make sure you clear any max HP, temp HP, etc. Before too long, the messenger comes back with goes to Tall Hand, who you actually find out his real name is Ron. Some people call him Tall Hand. Some people call him Kron Tall Hand. That's the same. But people are talking to him, and you hear it at some point. The runner comes back, and he'll open up a little message and say, "All right, found a place where you could stay. I hope none of you mind too much temples. Specifically, you'll be able to stay at the Temple of Mordain here in town. Probably won't be the most comfortable accommodations, but it'll be safe. I can promise you that." And Kala is more than happy with this.
Well, that works for me.
You gather up your things. Did you want to do the stake out with the cart still, or no?
Yeah, I think if color can add illusory magic to it, will definitely be on board of coming up with some kind of scheme to at least divert attention where they have to check multiple places if they
Yeah,
do
she
have.
can cast.
like,
She has silent image prepared, so you could cast that.
Medea will also suggest they move one by one slowly over the course of like the next day or two.
Hell will say, I don't know if I like that idea. Maybe in pairs. We also have to take this guy.
Ah, true. Pairs would be smart. I imagine you and Will be running the diversion.
Yes, that makes sense to me. That's okay with
Uh,
Will.
We can pairs of two. On the other end.
Who's going to take the fellow?
Sulveran
we can
raises his
make
hand
him-
slightly,
Yeah,
hits it
that
on the
makes
top of
sense.
the rope.
Yes, the big one will carry the heavy
Maybe-
load. That makes sense.
What if we had the first
Wait.
party go out, scout the area, and watch the lane we're going to take them on to the temple?
Come on. That sounds smart to me.
So we could have our two fast fellows on their feet. Perhaps they're a little bit navigating on their own.
Okay. Why don't I get whoever's going on the scouting party, whichever one is kind of the lead scout, will make a perception check, and then we'll do basically a group stealth check.
Okay. Do we have any ranger bullshit or something that could help us on this?
Ranger bullshit.
I don't think so yet.
I don't think so. I have very good stealth and perception modifiers, but I don't have any like sneaky spells or anything.
We don't have ranger bullshit, but we have at least 10 minutes, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
While they're explaining the plan, Sulveran is listening, and he finally just stops trying to stand and just crouches and drops to crossed legs on the ground. And he pulls out a rattling sack. And when he exposes this rattling sack, he is going to just spread out onto this hide on the ground a whole mess of bones.
Opens up a
And
sack of
when he,
bones.
yeah, and when he passes his hand over the bones, you might, if you're noticing or paying attention, you might see that the bones are about the same size and shape as his finger bones probably are. Maybe a little smaller here and there, maybe a little bit larger. And he is running augury as a ritual.
Okay. So that takes 11 minutes to cast because you're casting as a ritual. It takes longer. But you can go about it, do everything. Okay, so it's 4 options: wheel, woe, wheel and woe, or nothing. So I guess this is for the scout because it's only the next 30 minutes. Or did you want to wait to do it? Like, do you want to just do this every time before somebody leaves?
Smart.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I think just because I'm going to abstract this a little bit, I'll say that you can have advantage on the perception and the stealth checks from augury, rather than kind of, explaining every, in the telling you the scouting party results and both, all the other trip results. We'll do it that way. So whoever's doing the scouting, make a perception check. I think Uba, it sounds like.
Yeah, I can try.
Yeah, and that'll be with advantage, so you'll roll 2.
Yeah. If you shift click when you press perception as well, it'll roll for advantage for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Uba goes out, kind of skittering about, trying to blend in with other kobolds. There doesn't seem to be anybody watching the bar, and it's going along a major thoroughfare, so there's lots of people about, but you don't see anybody that looks particularly shifty or is like particularly looking for you. So you feel like you're pretty safe in going this way.
Okay.
At this
So
point,
I'll just.
can everybody make me a stealth check? Just because everybody's doing. I don't
Okay.
have Paladin.
For reference, by the way,
And
me
this
and
will
my
be
heavily
all of
armed
these
would
will be with
making this
advantage.
neutral because
Um,
Andrew, what was that
Can-
last bit?
These will all be with advantage.
and can Sulveran, he is very used to the fact that his armor is quite noisy. He would be willing to take it off, wrap it up, and try to like tie it to his pack so that he is a little bit more maneuverable as one might while he was out stalking game or something in the woods. Because it's heavy, otherwise he has disadvantage.
So since you said it's advantage, but I only rolled one, should I just roll a second one?
yeah.
Yes, that's fine. Okay. So, looks like I need
A
one more
19,
from
a 16.
Medea. Did you only roll one?
Yeah, I don't have advantage because I have heavy armor.
Oh,
So it's
you have
cancels out.
disadvantage flat. So 6.
Yeah.
Overall, between all of you, Hella, you will notice, is particularly stealthy, particularly good at moving through crowds. Hood up, Will, when you go with them, like seems to be their element, like hiding through crowds. So it seems like they got unlucky when they were escaping, or perhaps some magic was at play, something like that. But between all of you guys, some of you have to help each other a little bit. Uba and Alveron are solid, good. You both are able to move through, same thing, move through crowds, stay hidden. Alveron, this is also something you've done, had to do a few times, once really recently even. Medea, you do make noise and are noticeable, especially with the big antlers. You kind of stand out a little bit unless you were to change.
Mhm.
But nobody notices the others, and you're all able to get there unaccosted. You kind of are all holding, waiting. There's a very tense, hour or so where the first group is there, but the second group is still making their way there, and you're I hope they don't get caught. Eventually, you all get there, and you are greeted by a very old kobold, like waddles up to you. Their scales were probably a mottled red at one point, but they've kind of lost luster a little bit, and maybe even like a little bit of color to them. So they're like a very faded red color. They've got hoods. They're wearing raiments and everything. And I'll waddle up to the group once you're all there and say, "Hi. So I'm to understand that I am protecting you for some time."
Sure.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
All right. Well, I am Meeple the Great. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I am an elder for this temple, and I'll show you to your rooms. And I think that's where we're going to end today's session. So, I hope you all had fun. I thought it went well.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
fun.
a great and fun first session. I
enjoyed it.
Just